I hereby welcome Dr. Pankaj Srivastava. He is a professor and he is an authority in DNA fingerprinting and various other technologies. And he has various accolades, various recognitions, and number of papers in international journals. He is in process of doing his second PhD also. So I think without standing between you and Dr. Pankaj, I invite him to deliberate. And as I requested you that your deliberation should be in the two part. One part, then whatever your techniques would be requiring for a smart investigation app, right? So how
Sir.
the smart collection from the scene of crime could help to do a smart job at your end, not limiting to DNA, but in other domain as well. Number one, and secondly, how from the scene of crime experts could be connected on the real-time basis through the expert app, and then what are the things we can have in the app to so with this I invite Dr. Pankaj Srivastava to initiate your presentation and your briefing. And I'm very sure it will be very useful session to my students and faculties, those who are part of the streaming in and those who are watching at the back end on YouTube channel. And thanks for the admin team that for arranging it flawlessly. And I'm very sure it will be very, very useful to all of us. So we are very keenly awaiting presentation from Dr. Pankaj Srivastava. Thank you,
Sir.
Dr. Pankaj Srivastava.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me, sir. And let me share my screen first. Okay. Is it being viewed? Now, my first slide. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Your slide is
Is it
visible. Yeah,
visible, sir?
yeah, it's visible. Please.
Okay. So
Yeah.
now let us come into the world of forensic analysis of DNA evidence. And so now in next few minutes, this is the first in first few slides, we'll talk about why DNA is considered to be the most reliable technique for towards the conclusive identification and investigation. So if we talk about the earlier days, which is the techniques of 60, if we talk about, we started with forensic science in biology and serology, where most of the things or most of the cases are being taken care by forensic biology and serological examination. But there are certain limitations. Now these limitations are taken care of by a technology which is more suitable, which is more prominent, which is more understandable, or you can say which gives you more pertinent result if you talk about the identification. So now, if you in next few slides, I'll be comparing the examination which we have is biological examination, and in next few slides, I'll be comparing biological examination with the DNA examination. So, in biological examination, which is the most common examination of today, even that in most of the cases, biology and serology is practiced. So the very first query of investigating officer is to detect the presence, that whether the presence of these biological material, blood, semen, saliva is there or not. And if at all there is presence of these material, then what is the origin? And if origin is human, so the first is the presence, that whether these biological material is present or not. And if at all there is presence of these material, then the second query of investigation is that what is the origin. And now, if the origin is human, then everybody would like to see that if origin is human, then what is the group? Okay. Now, if you talk about hair as such, so in case of hair, there are two queries of investigation. Number one is origin, and the number one second query is about the matching. That this is to say that whether these two exhibits are similar, both the articles are similar or not, both the hairs are similar or not, despite of being human. Okay. Now, what we get out of this biological examination? Okay. So you may found that blood found positive, then you may find that origin is human, but many a times this blood group is not detected. Now, the reason behind is the stain may be disintegrated, control may not be available, strain not sufficient, or results are inconclusive. Now, these are the proven limitations of the technology. Now, why these limitations are there? Because the biological examination and serological examination, serological techniques are developed earlier in 60s. Now, anything which is not updated is going to be quashed. And the same thing happened with biological and serological examination. So, as in forensic biology, the techniques which are being used are techniques of 60s, earlier 60s. So, and those are not updated. So, we don't find conclusive result if we practice these technologies today. So, in with these limitations, now if you talk about the origin of blood or the group of blood, so this won't provide you a conclusive match, because even if you there may be two conditions: either the blood group is determined, or you may say that blood group is not determined. Okay. Now, if even if you determine blood group, now it can be used for exclusion only. It cannot be used for any purpose of inclusion. You can say, like, if you have 100%, you can exclude few persons whose blood group is not matching, so you can exclude those persons. But if you want to pinpoint a person, that okay, suppose this particular person is having Hello. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my presentation?
Yes, sir. We can see your presentation. We can hear you, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Can you see my presentation now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. I don't know from where you could not see. So could you
I
see
think
these slides?
yes, sir. We can see, sir.
Okay, fine. No, did you saw this slide?
No, sir. No, sir.
This one? Okay, fine.
Sir, you have to repeat it again.
Okay, fine, fine, fine. Okay. Can you see? Hello. Can you see it now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, we can.
Okay, okay, fine, fine. Okay, so I started with this slide that why DNA is considered to be the most reliable technology of today. So for proving any technology to be better technology, you need to compare it with the existing technology. So if you say that for present, if you examine more than around 100 cases, suppose if you examine, so in more than 50 or 60 percent cases, this biological and serological examination is conducted for the purpose of investigation. Okay. Now, in what is done in biological or serological examination, this I'm showing now. Okay. So whenever a case is presented for biological examination, so these are the queries of investigation, that whether there is presence of these material, which is blood, semen, and saliva. These are said to be the biological fluid. And if at all there is presence of these material, then what is the origin of this particular biological fluid? If origin is human, then they ask about groups. So these are the three queries of investigation from forensic laboratory if they go for biological and serological examination. Okay, so first query is presence of these materials, second query is about the origin, and the third query is about the group. Okay, now after this, if the other material available is hair, so if hair is found observed like in the fist of diseased, or it is observed on the spot, crime scene spot, so what they ask, that what is the origin of this hair, whether this belong to human or not. And if origin is human, then whether a particular hair which is found on the fist of disease or found on the spot, whether it matches with the accused or not. So these are the normal queries with biological and serological examination. Okay, now just take these substances or these biological material one by one. So if you talk about biological examination results from blood, so in most of the cases which are referred for biological and serological examination, blood is found positive. Even origin is deciphered, which is mostly human. Okay, but in many a times this group may not be determined, and there are n number of reasons. The four most common reasons are: stain got disintegrated, control not available, stain not sufficient, and results are inconclusive. Now, just please note that these are limitation of the technology. These are not the limitation of biological or serology practicing examiners. Okay, so these are the limitation of technology, because this technology, which is known as biology and serology, the technology which is practiced in forensic laboratory in these two disciplines are the technology which was invented earlier in 60s. Okay, so just please remember this, that anything which is not updated is going to be quashed. ओके सो लाइक हम पढ़ते हैं, अगर हम अपने आप को अपडेट ना रखें, हम अपने आप को रिसर्च पेपर्स ना पढ़ें, अपनी फील्ड में काम ना करें, अपने आप को बेहतर बनाने की कोशिश ना करें, अपने नॉलेज को अपडेट नहीं करें, तो हमारा नॉलेज धीरे धीरे खत्म होता जाएगा, क्योंकि हमने जितना अटेन कर लिया उतना तो रहेगा हमारे पास, आगे का कुछ हमारे पास नहीं आ रहा है. सो वी आर नॉट रेडी towards the competitive world. The same goes with the technology. So why biology and serology failed? Because these are the technologies of 60s. Okay, so now these are the limitation. Now these are the reasons that why we are not getting result. Okay, now the second aspect is that if you got result, now what will happen? Suppose you get result that, okay, on the spot or on particular cloth you got a blood group. Now if that blood group is determined, it can be used for exclusion. ओके, फॉर एग्जाम्पल जैसे हम लोग 100 लोग हों और हम जानना चाहें कि इन 100 लोगों में से बी ग्रुप के कितने हैं, ओ ग्रुप के कितने हैं, तो लाइक हमने कहा कि 100 लोगों में से देखा, तो अगर हम आप लोगों से पूछें, आप में से किसी ने बोला कि 10 लोगों का ब्लड ग्रुप बी है. ओके, अब अगर मरने वाले का भी ब्लड ग्रुप बी है और 100 लोगों का ब्लड ग्रुप बी है, तो हम जिसका ब्लड ग्रुप बी नहीं है उसको एक्सक्लूड तो कर सकते हैं. Okay, so this is the technique which can be used for exclusion. But now if you want to point out that, okay, this blood drop belongs to whom, now you have 100 persons जिनका की blood group B है और उनसे आपको मैच करना है. Okay, so now this particular matching is not possible until unless you go with a DNA technology, or you try to find out an option that though both biological fluid give a same DNA profile. Okay, so this technique can be used for screening purpose only. And the second point, if you want to match the blood group with accused, it's not possible. If you want to match it with seen crime, even this is not possible. Okay, so the only opinion you will get, okay, yes, this particular material is having blood, and this blood is human, and that doesn't solve any purpose if you talk in a scientific manner. Okay, until unless we have this answer that to whom this particular blood belongs. Okay, now this is second part, which is rape case. Okay, so in rape case, what is happening, that biological examinations are giving you a result that human spermatozoa is present, which is the confirmatory test with biology and serology, that human spermatozoa is present. ओके, नाउ इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द सोर्स ऑफ स्पर्मेटोजोआ, लाइक हम में से जितने भी लोग मेल हैं जो कि विसेक्टिमाइज नहीं है, वो अगर इस एज के हैं कि उनमें सीमेन प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है और विसेक्टिमाइज नहीं है, सो एवरीबडी इज हैविंग स्पर्मेटोजोआ. कुछ लोग हो सकते हैं जो एस्पर्मिक हों किसी बीमारी की वजह से, या जिनको विसेक्टिमाइज जो विसेक्टिमाइज हो गए हों. ओके, फाइन. तो इन लोगों में हम स्पर्मेटोजोआ की प्रेजेंस एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करते, बट इन मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस स्पर्मेटोजोआ इज देयर. ओके, नाउ यू कैन ओनली डिटेक्ट द प्रेजेंस ऑफ ह्यूमन स्पर्मेटोजोआ, but if you want to match it with accused, it's not possible. If you want to prove it that it's a rape, it's a case of rape or gang rape, even this is not possible. Because if suppose this spermatozoa examination, if you are aware, it is done with microscope. Okay, so you prepare a slide and you try to visualize the presence of spermatozoa. Now if you try to differentiate it, it's not possible by merely observing it with a microscope. Okay, so because human spermatozoa has a specific structure, so if you talk about different individuals spermatozoa, they won't look like differently. Okay, that means merely by microscopic examination you cannot differentiate. Okay, so now if it's a mixture of 1%, 2%, 3%, or 4%, or it's a semen from 1%, you cannot differentiate by merely observing the presence of spermatozoa. Now, if you talk about the results which are observed from biological examination related with saliva, now in which type of cases this saliva examination is required, Dr. Pradeep को दिखा लो हम मीटिंग में. सो लाइक कहीं पे किसी ने सिगरेट पी के फेंका हो या किसी ने च्युइंगम खा के फेंका हो या पान खा के थूका हुआ हो कहीं पे, एंड वी वांट टू एस्टेब्लिश दैट टू whom this particular biological material belong to. So for that purpose this saliva examination is done. So in this case the presence of saliva is detected and then origin is deciphered by biological examination. But if you try to point out, or if you want to point out a person that to whom this particular saliva material belongs to, you won't be having any answer. Similarly, if you want to see कि एक सिगरेट कितने लोगों ने पी है, एक जन ने पी है कि दो लोगों ने पी है, so you won't be having this answer. Like now, if you talk the resultant of this exercise, this is futile, because जैसे सिगरेट है, किसी ने सिगरेट पी के आपको कहीं पे किसी की पी हुई सिगरेट मिलती है. अब सिगरेट कोई जानवर तो पिएगा नहीं, आदमी ही पिएगा. तो अगर हमें ये पता चल भी जाता है कि इसमें जो सलाइवा है उसका ओरिजिन ह्यूमन है, इन व्हाट वे इट इज यूजफुल फॉर अस. ओके, सिगरेट है तो किसी आदमी ने ही पी होगी. ओके, बट इफ यू वांट टू पिन पॉइंट अ पर्सन की सिगरेट किसने पी के फेंकी, मतलब स्पॉट पे किसकी प्रेजेंस थी, या ये तंबाकू खा के किसने थूकी है, पान खा के किसने थूका है, सो यू वोंट बी हैविंग एनी आंसर ऑन दिस. ओके, now in the similar manner, the last article which is mostly examined is hair. So in the similar manner, origin of hair is deciphered, which is human. It can be assessed that it is cut or rooted. ये तो आप नेकेड आई से आप खुद भी शायद कोई जिसको कोई प्रॉपर ट्रेनिंग ना हो, वो भी मेरे हिसाब से अगर आँख को आप बाल को तोड़ के ऐसे अगर आप लाइट के में रख के देखोगे तो आप भी एक बाल अपना उखाड़ के देखो, आपको पता चल जाएगा कि इसमें रूट होती है. ओके, और इसी तरीके से आप जब अपने बाल को थोड़ा सा काट के और उसको देखेंगे एक बाल के हिस्से को, तो आपको ये भी अंदाज लग जाएगा कि एक कट हेयर है, मतलब इसमें रूट नहीं है. Okay, so now this is the opinion which you are getting from biological examination, that origin of hair is human, it's cut or rooted. Okay, so about similarity if you talk, you'll get the suggestive opinion कि ये दोनों similar हो सकते हैं. But if you talk about the conclusive opinion that these both hair belong to the same person, so this answer you won't get from biological or serological examination. Okay, so means hair belong to victim or it belong to accused, you won't be having any answer on this. Okay, so these are the reason. And if you talk about DNA, so DNA is having answer for all these questions. Now how? Let us see with a few case study. Now this is first case which I am sharing with you. It's comparing biological and DNA examination. So it's a case of attempt to murder. Now in this case, now whatever, please note that whatever I will be telling you, this is based on my experience, and all slides and everything, whatever I am presenting here is from my experience, which I have seen, and the casework examination which I have done with DNA. Okay, so there's nothing which is bookish which I am sharing with you. Okay, so now in the case, clothes of injured were there, clothes of accused 1, knife from accused 1, gupti, it's a type of knife from accused 2, and blood, it's an earth from spots. So these were the material which were received for biological examination. Now see the result. With clothes of injured, human blood was detected. Then grouping could not be determined. Reason, control was not available. With clothes of accused and knife, human blood was detected. Grouping could not be determined. Reason behind was stain was not found sufficient. Kupti, it's a kind of weapon seized from accused 2. Again, blood was detected. Species and grouping could not be determined. Blood stained earth, जिसको मिट्टी कहते हैं हम लोग, human blood was detected and grouping could not be determined. Now, these were the results which were presented before honorable court. Okay, now in the same case, court ordered DNA examination. Now if you see the results of the DNA examination. Autosomal male male DNA profile was obtained from the clothes of injured. Okay, and similar DNA profile was detected from clothes of accused 1, knife of accused 1, gupti from accused 2, blood stained earth from the spot. Okay, now if you see and if you compare the result of these two techniques, that is biological examination versus DNA examination, okay, so results are before you. Okay, so with biological examination, you are not up to the mark, you are not having any conclusive opinion after doing this whole analysis. And by doing DNA, whenever you say that this is similar DNA profile, that means all the profiles are matching, and now you can say that presence of the biological material of this injured was observed on the clothes of accused, knife of accused, gupti of accused, and blood stained earth, which is a spot. Okay, so a spot is established. All the accused were established by seeing or like linked by using this DNA testing in this particular case. Okay, now this is another case which will open your eyes. इसमें एक अज्ञात मृतक का फीमर बोन एक ड्राफ्ट है, उसमें आपको दिख रहा है एक मृतक की फीमर बोन है और उसके मदर फादर का ब्लड सैंपल आया था. मतलब हमें वी आर सपोज टू prove the identity of that particular femur bone. Okay, so now this is the profile which we could generate from bone sample. Okay, so this is the method. Organic extraction was used. Then we do multiplex PCR. Then we analyzed with genetic analyzer and gene mapper software. Okay, and now this is the final outcome. Okay, so we'll talk about the profile later. Now, for now, just remember that we got a profile. Okay, now by seeing this profile, this is clear that this is an autosomal profile. So on autosomal profile, you should not expect more than 2 numbers on any particular point. Out of these two, one number comes from father, the other number comes from mother. So this I'll show you again after a few slides. Okay, and one of the marker being tested in forensic DNA is amylogenin, this one. Okay, so either this will show you a X profile which will belong to a female, or it will show you a male DNA profile which is XY. Okay, so we got by seeing this, you can see that this profile belongs to a male. Okay, now there are certain other documents which are made available to us when we go for DNA analysis with the file, which is the complete case file. Okay, which is set to be the medical legal or medical examination. Okay, so now in the same case, we have this autopsy results also available, autopsy, or you can say the medical legal examination. Now you can see that this was a dead body of female. Okay, now see, it is a typical female, skeletonized body of a typical female. Now you see, हमारा जो ऑब्जर्वेशन है डीएनए एग्जामिनेशन से, उसमें हमको प्रोफाइल मिला एक मेल का. नाउ दिस ऑटोप्सी रिपोर्ट और मेडिकल लीगल रिपोर्ट इज सेइंग दैट दिस बिलोंग्स टू अ फीमेल. नाउ अब या तो हम गलत हैं या मेडिकल लीगल एग्जामिनेशन की रिपोर्ट गलत है. ओके, नाउ अब इस बात को आप ध्यान रखें कि अब मैं जो आपसे बता रहा हूं या ये केस आपसे शेयर कर रहा हूं, दिस नेवर मीन्स कि मेडिकल लीगल एग्जामिनेशन गलत है या मेडिकल लीगल एग्जामिनेशन करने वाला गलत है. ओके, द रीजन बिहाइंड इज कि जो भी इस तरीके के ऑब्जर्वेशन होते हैं या जो भी फाइंडिंग्स होती हैं या जो भी एनालिसिस करके कोई रिजल्ट बताता है, उसके कुछ गाइडलाइन है. गाइडलाइन कैसी है? जैसे आपने कहा कि कोई हड्डी किसी मेल की या फीमेल की होना कैसे बताया जा सकता है, तो होता ये है कि किसी ने कभी रिसर्च की होगी और 1000, 2000, 5000 बोन सैंपल्स में रिजल्ट देखे गए होंगे और ये पाया गया होगा कि अगर ज्यादातर रिजल्ट ऐसे हों तो वो फीमेल की है. मतलब फीमेल की हड्डियों को देखा गया 500, 1000, 2000, 5000 जितने भी, तो ये रिसर्च बेस्ड फाइंडिंग्स होती हैं. उनके बेसिस पे ये प्रूव हुआ एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल टेक्निक में कि अगर इस तरीके का शेप होता है तो वो फीमेल की बॉडी का होना चाहिए. ओके, उस बेसिस पे ये रिपोर्ट जो है वो बेस्ड होती हैं. ओके, बट इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द एग्जामिनेशन विच इज डन इन डीएनए, तो हम डीएनए में क्या कर रहे हैं, हर मटेरियल के सेल ले रहे हैं, उन सेल को लाइज करके उसका डीएनए निकाल रहे हैं, तो वॉट एवर इज देयर इनसाइड एनी सेल ऑफ बॉडी, इट विल रिफ्लेक्ट यू इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अ डीएनए प्रोफाइल. ओके, सो इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट 1000 लोगों ने किसी को करके देखा था और उनके बेसिस पे यहाँ पर हम कुछ रिजल्ट निकालने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. नो, what is done here is that you are generating a individual's profile, and by generating that profile now you are comparing. Okay, so हमें क्या मिला? एक मेल का प्रोफाइल. अगर आप यहां देखेंगे हमें क्या मिला? ये मेल का प्रोफाइल, और मेडिको लीगल ने क्या एक्सपेक्ट किया था इसमें कि ये फीमेल का बॉडी है. ठीक, अब हमें कंफर्म करना है कि हमारी फाइंडिंग सही है या उसको माना जाना चाहिए या इस फाइंडिंग को माना जाना चाहिए. तो इसमें आप देखो मेडिको लीगल एग्जामिनेशन में एक लाइन लिखी है कि फ्रंटल बोन इन 7.8 to 7 सेंटीमीटर मिसिंग. इसमें स्कल भी था, ये आप देखिए स्कल का डिस्क्रिप्शन है. स्कल में फ्रंटल बोन में इतना यहाँ पर एक पोर्शन मिसिंग बताया है इन्होंने इस साइज का. ओके, नाउ दिस पोर्शन वाज नॉट विथ अस फॉर डीएनए एग्जामिनेशन, क्योंकि इसमें हमारे पास सिर्फ बोन आई थी. नाउ वी आस्क्ड concerned superintendent of police to send us the skull also for DNA examination to confirm our finding. Okay, now we got the skull, and you can see over here that this frontal portion is missing. Okay, so now this confirmed that this skull and that bone belongs to the same person जिनका की ऑटोप्सी हुआ था, ऑटोप्सी सर्जन ने किया था. Okay, now this skull is having few teeth. So we took teeth and we generated DNA profile, and you can see here that the profile generated from teeth and the profile generated from bone are identical on all the markers. Okay, so now what point was which came out of this DNA testing, that this bone belonged to a male, not to a female. Okay, so just I'm trying to say that how conclusive DNA technology is. Now, another type of case that even use of condom cannot safeguard accused if recovered by investigating officer in a proper manner. Okay, so now a lady was sexually assaulted and was reported to be sexually assaulted by 3 accused, and on scene of crime 3 condoms were recovered. Now you see, now what we should expect when we examine condom. Now condom was used, it is used on penis. So from inner part, after sexual intercourse, what will be there? From outer part, you expect the DNA profile of female with whom the sex was done, and from inner portion, as there was ejaculate, so it will give you a DNA profile of male. Okay, now with this knowledge, just try to see. In this case, as I said earlier, that 3 condoms were recovered. So you can see here, outer portion of condom 1 to 3, a female profile was generated. Okay, now the profile was matched with another sample from the same lady, which confirmed that all the 3 condoms were used with the same lady. This was confirmed. Okay, now you see the picture which was observed from the inner portion. So this is inner portion profile from condom 1. This is inner portion profile from condom 2. This is inner portion profile from condom 3. Okay, now every individual's profile is unique. If you talk about DNA profile, every individual's profile is unique. Okay, so this profile is different, this profile is different, and this profile is different. Okay, now please remember, from all the 3 condoms, from outer portion similar DNA profile was observed, but from inner portion you got 3 different profiles. That means all the 3 condoms were used with the same lady, but by 3 different individuals, 3 different male individuals. Okay, now there were 3 suspects in the case. You can see over here that this inner portion semen profile is matching with suspect 3. Inner portion of condom 2 profile is matching with this accused. Okay, now if you see about this profile, which is observed from condom number 3, now this profile is not matching with this suspect. Now this is another beauty of DNA technology, because now this does not, it's not a technique which is there to convict Okay, so if anybody is not involved, even he will get set free with the same notion. Okay, यहाँ आप देख पा रहे हैं कि तीन में से दो जो आरोपी हैं, लाइक ये वाला और ये वाला, इनका तो इंक्लूजन इससे प्रूव हुआ, बट ये वाला जो आरोपी नहीं था, ये इस घटना से साफ बचता भी है डीएनए से. ओके, सो दिस इज नॉट द टेक्निक टू कन्विक्ट. ओके, यहाँ पे आपको एक फेयर डील मिलती है. ये टेक्निक आपको एक फेयर डील दे रही है कि अगर कोई किसी घटना में इन्वॉल्व है तो वो कंक्लूसिवली प्रूव होगा गिल्टी, और अगर वो नहीं है तो उसी कन्फर्मिटी के साथ वो एक्यूज उससे अलग भी साबित होगा. मतलब वो सस्पेक्ट है, अगर वो एक्यूज नहीं है तो ये प्रूव होगा कि वो एक्यूज नहीं है, वो घटना में इन्वॉल्व नहीं है. ओके ओके, नाउ आप अगर आंख बंद करके सोचें, डू वी सी फेशियल, बॉडी स्ट्रक्चर, हेयर पैटर्न सिमिलरिटी इन रिलेटिव्स. तो अगर आप सोचें कि कुछ, जैसे आप आंख बंद करके सोचें तो यू विल फाइंड सम सिमिलरिटी इन योर रिलेटिव्स. ओके, like if you see with your brother or father or uncle, you may find some genetic similarity. Okay, but if you compare yourself with some unrelated person, then you won't find it. Okay, like see, father, son, grandson. Okay, so this is my family. Actually, this is my father. So my the snap taken at the time of my schooling, then in college, then a few years back, and this is my son, elder son, and this is my younger son. Okay, so now you you try to see, if you see my face, it is having resemblance with my son. Okay, so there is facial similarity. Now these are again some father son groups. Father, son. Okay, again father and son, father and son, father and son, father and son. This is a family which traveled with me from Hyderabad to Bhopal in a train. So again you can see over here that the face of mother and this child is matching, and father and son matching. Okay, now this is a picture of my friend who is professor in Jivaji University, Gwalior. You see the facial structure of her daughter and himself. Okay, so because of this, I say that DNA is a God signature. So once you sign a paper on a paper, you can rub it, you can tear it, or you can burn it. Okay, so there are n number of ways by which you can destroy your signature. But if your profile is created, that means if your body is created, until and unless it is converted into ash, you can generate your DNA profile, or you can prove your identity. Okay, so with the present day technique, you are not able to generate DNA profile from ash. Rest from all the material, DNA profile can be generated. Okay, so now I told you that in everybody's profile, if you talk about autosomal STR, there are two numbers, and if one number is there from father, the other number has to be from the one number is from father, the other number is from mother. Okay, so you see here on a particular marker, this father is having two numbers, mother is having two numbers. Okay, so out of these two numbers, only one will come for this child. Okay, so if you see in this case, so this 11 has come, and from mother 15 has come. Okay, now if you talk about another child, so there may be a situation where from father 13 will come, and from mother either 14 will come or 15 will come. Okay, so it's by chance, nobody can control this. Okay, so this is God's signature. So now, if you see the complete DNA profile, as I told you earlier, that on every point, or every particular point, you are having two numbers, and one is matching with father and the other one is matching with mother. Okay, so on everywhere, when there is a match on every point, then only it is said that this particular body belongs to this mother and this father. Okay, so this is how paternity is established, and you try to see that how conclusive the technology is, because here you are not saying that the similarity index hai wo kitna hai. It's not like that. Like आप ये नहीं कह रहे हैं कि इसमें कितने परसेंट मैच होगा और कितने परसेंट नहीं होगा। लाइक अगर इन 16 में से एक पॉइंट पे मैच नहीं भी है, देन वी विल हैव टू प्रूव इट कि अगर एक पे नहीं है तो क्यों नहीं है, एंड वी हैव आंसर ऑल्सो। अभी हम आपको आगे दिखाएंगे कि इस चीज का भी आंसर होता है कि अगर म्यूटेशन या किसी इवेंट के कारण ये नहीं मैच कर रहा है तो क्यों नहीं कर रहा है, और उसको हम साथ में प्रूव भी करते हैं अपनी रिपोर्ट्स में। Now this is autosomal profile जो हम आपको टेबलराइज कंडीशन में दिखा रहे हैं. This is electropherogram which is the actual DNA profile which we generate in our laboratory. So you can see over here that either a person will have two or will have only one. One means that the same number came from father and mother. So this is homozygous situation and this is heterozygous situation. So this is autosomal STR profile, which is most practiced STR marker. STR is the technology of today, which is practiced globally in forensic DNA work. Okay, so now out of these are different markers like this one, this one, this one. Okay, so these are different markers, and this particular marker is sex determining marker or amelogenin marker. So if you talk about DNA, then do not assume. DNA has a specific full form, deoxyribonucleic acid, but it's better to say that do not assume, because if you assume कि ये बच्चा किसका है, with this technology, now you have answer for this no. Because if you talk about sexual intercourse, it's something which happens in the dark. ओके इस बात के सिर्फ दो गवाह होते हैं कि किन्हीं दो लोगों में सेक्सुअल इंटरकोर्स हुआ है, जब वो किसी मास या पब्लिक के सामने ना हुआ हो, तब इस घटना का कोई गवाह नहीं होता. एंड इफ यू वांट टू प्रूव इट, तो उसका सिर्फ दो ही बातें हैं कि वो रिलेशन सिर्फ माँ को पता है या जिससे उसका सेक्सुअल रिलेशन हुआ है उसको पता है. ओके, सो इफ अ मैन डिनाइज, देन यू डोंट हैव एनी ऑप्शन विद दिस टू प्रूव. So if you want to prove it, again you'll have to generate a DNA profile. That is the only way of today if you want to confirm the paternity or parentage. Sorry. Okay, so now what does DNA mean? DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. It's a helical structure, and जैसे आप लोगों ने आमिर खान के मूवी में देखा होगा, उन्होंने चेन से एक्सप्लेन किया था. ये भी एक बहुत पुराने रिसर्च पेपर में एक्सप्लेन किया गया है. एक उन्होंने कहा है, किसी ने, ये मेरा अपना थॉट नहीं है, ये एक रिसर्च पेपर से हमने लिया है इमेज. उन्होंने कहा है कि जिस तरीके से आप चेन को खोल दें तो दोनों स्ट्रैंड अलग हो जाएंगे, और चेन को बंद कर दें तो दोनों स्ट्रैंड जुड़ जाएंगे. ओके, सो यू कैन कंपेयर द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ डीएनए विद द चेन ऑल्सो. Okay, now if you talk about the molecular structure of DNA, which is zipper short, so it is, everybody's DNA is made up of these four letters A, C, G, T. Okay, now इन दोनों में कुछ पेयरिंग होती है, और उसका जो पेयरिंग का रूल है वो असर्टेन रहता है, वो कंफर्म रहता है. लाइक ए हमेशा थायमिन से ही जुड़ेगा, एडेनोसिन हमेशा थायनोसिन से जुड़ेगा, और जो साइटोसिन है वो गुआनिन से ही जुड़ेगा. ये कंफर्म है. मतलब ए जो है वो सी से नहीं ऐड हो सकता, जी हमेशा सी से होगा, ए हमेशा टी से पेयर होगा. ये अगर आप इसको थोड़ा सा जेनेटिक्स वाइज देखेंगे तो ये, आप अगर स्ट्रक्चर देखेंगे तो आप ज़्यादा अच्छे से इसको अप्रिशिएट कर पाएंगे कि ऐसा क्यों होता है. बट अभी वो हमारा टॉपिक ऑफ इंटरेस्ट नहीं है उतनी साइंस, तो हम उसको स्किप कर रहे हैं. ओके, सो नाउ अब अगर हर आदमी का जो डीएनए है वो ACGT से मिलके बना है, देन व्हाई देयर इज सो मच डिफरेंशिएशन, एंड व्हाई इट्स अ फैक्ट दैट एवरीबॉडीज डीएनए प्रोफाइल इज यूनिक. ओके, एवरीबॉडी इज यूनिक, व्हाई सो? ओके, जबकि ये सिर्फ 4 है. नाउ दिस इज द रीजन बिहाइंड दिस फैक्ट. लाइक अगर हम एक कॉमन मैन की लैंग्वेज में समझें तो TACGC ये हमने लिखा, इट्स अ सीक्वेंस. नाउ दिस इज द सेम सीक्वेंस विथ रीअरेंजमेंट. आप देखो, ए इसमें पहले कर दिया, जी पहले कर दिया, फिर टी आ गया, फिर सी और सी आ गया. ओके, सो नाउ दिस इज so now if you see, so this sequence and this sequence, these are rearrangement of letters. Okay, now in the similar manner, this is having different meaning and this is having different meaning genetically. Now if you want to see a general example, so it's a very good example which I have created here, that you see these words: post, stop, pots and tops. So these all four words have rearrangement of letters, and if you see the meaning, or if you try to find the meaning is entirely different. So this is the rearrangement of letter which defines the individuality. ओके सो जैसे यहाँ पर रीअरेंजमेंट है लेटर्स का विच इज गिविंग यू ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट मीनिंग, वैसा ही डीएनए का सीक्वेंस होता है. सो अगर सीक्वेंस चेंज होगा देन देयर विल बी वेरिएशन, एंड दिस वेरिएशन विल बी यूनिक within individuals. Okay, now if you compare it with a fingerprint, so fingerprints are discovery of somewhere around 1930, and DNA was discovered in 1985. Fingerprints are only on fingertips. These can be altered by surgery, और आपने movies में देखा होगा, it can be masked by gloves also. Okay, and if you talk about DNA, it is same in every body, and body is made up of different organs, and organs are made up of from different cells. So from every cells you can generate a DNA profile, and from every cell you'll get the same DNA profile, and you cannot mask or alter your all the cells of your body. Okay, so this is how the body is made. From father gives sperm, mother gives egg. Sperm is having 23 chromosome, egg is having 23 chromosome. Okay, so this is not 23 actually. So you have 23 pairs of chromosomes. So the total number of chromosome in human, it's specific in every individual. For human, it is 46 or 23 pairs. So from egg, a child get 23. From sperm, a child get 23. So again, when this cell is formed, so 23 from father and 23 from mother, which is just half or 50%. Okay, so every child is having 50% genetic contribution of father and 50% genetic contribution from mother. So now when this single cell, after a period of 9 months, gets developed into this child, and this child is uh, attains some certain age. Okay, so this doesn't matter that how old are you if you practice DNA technology, because from all the cells of this body, this man's body, this is my picture actually 10-15 years back. Okay, so if you see this picture, or if you try to find DNA profile of mine, okay, until and unless my body is converted into ash from my blood, from my semen, from my saliva, from teeth, bones, sweat, skin, from any part of my body, you'll get the same DNA profile. Okay, so this is fact. And whatever I have, 50% of DNA I have from my father, and 50% of DNA I have from mother. Okay, so this forms, or this frames, the basis of DNA technology. So if you talk about basis of DNA technology, genome of each individual is unique with the exception of identical twins. Now this was the only lacuna with DNA technology, and this was resolved if you see the Wang et al. Paper in 2015. Okay, if you see this paper, this shows that even biological identical twins can be differentiated by using next generation technology. Okay, so now this only lacuna in DNA technology was also resolved. Okay, so now what this basis says, that no two persons have the same DNA profile. Just a moment. And the second basis behind DNA is that genome is inherited from parents. That means whatever you have in your body, it has come from your parents. Means you have nothing which is not there in your father or mother. You won't be having anything, any genetic material from outside. Okay, so these two are basis of DNA typing or DNA profiling. So with this, you can be assured that DNA is unique in every organism. It can easily be obtained from a variety of substrate. All the body cells would have same DNA, and it does not change during the lifetime. Okay. Now, just no need to explain it. This is just to show you. This is from one of my paper, that this samples from body part or body fluid. You can just simply read it, that you just think of any material from our body, and you will find that a DNA profile can be generated. Okay, let it be fetus, single burnt spot of body, fingerprints, blood stains, seminal stains, saliva, etc. Okay, and samples from taken from body like swabs, slides, various type of clothes, skin swab, single piece of cigarette bidi, personal belongings, used condom, bed sheet, toothbrush, chewing gum. Okay, when bullet recovered from body, weapons, plant material having presence of human DNA, किसी ने तंबाकू खा के थूका हुआ हो या कोई ग्लव्स हो इवन फ्रॉम ग्लव्स we have generated the profile of wearer, even that we did. Okay, and if you see the range and variety of sample I tested with forensic DNA, blood stain, saliva, all the material which you can think, this I have done in my laboratory practicing forensic DNA. Okay, so DNA fingerprinting is a conclusive identification technique for individuals. And as I said earlier, that this is not the technique to apprehend the guilty, but this technology saves innocent as well. Even this is done. Okay, so you have seen modern use of YSTR testing in conviction in this particular case, which was highlighted. Osama bin Laden's death was confirmed by DNA testing. DNA tests solved the mystery of this Amarmani Tripathi Madhumita Shukla case, which was done earlier in 2003, which was the almost inception of technology or in India, because that technology was being grooming up during that time. Dr. Lalji Singh and CDFT were there. Okay, then DNA test confirmed Saini Ahuja had sex with maid. Okay, this case was in highlight. Now there is one more thing, that mother is a fact, but father is a belief. As I said earlier, that जो sexual relation है वो सिर्फ डार्क में होता है और उसका कोई गवाह नहीं होता. So if a man denies, then mother has no option to go with a technology like DNA to prove that the child is having the parentage from the same man. Okay, so this is again a case which was very much highlighted. This fathership was confirmed by DNA only. Okay, now there may be a few incidences where negative examination in biology may result to the positive examination in DNA. This is also a case which I did in 2008. You can see here, this was a case of triple murder. A woman aged 40 years and her two daughters aged 16 and 11 years. And there was a suspicion that deceased girl is 16 years, having been sexually assaulted prior to her killing. Okay, so now this case was earlier presented for biological and serological examination in our laboratory, and these were the if you talk about the result, the results were that spermatozoa was not found present in the slide of victim. This was the final outcome of result. Okay, now the same case, when we actually when we started DNA examination, there was a guideline that if we receive two slides in biology and serology, then one slide is kept for further examination if at all is required. So in the similar case, DNA test was ordered by honorable court, and we did DNA examination. So when we did DNA examination on the remaining VS slide of the victim is 16 years, we got a male DNA profile. Okay, so now you see the earlier finding of biology said that okay, spermatozoa is not present. That means presence of semen was not detected. But in this case, presence of male DNA profile was observed. Now there were three victims or three suspects in the same case. We called IU to send their blood samples for DNA examination. You can see here the final outcome of the case. The profile generated from male DNA profile generated from vaginal semen slide, then it is matching with exactly with the accused one. Okay, so अब इस केस में ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक जा चुका है और इसमें जो क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन हुआ वो भी हो चुका था. I was cross examined for twice in the same case. Okay, as the case was examined by one of my senior. Okay, so now there is no issue of being expertise of senior or junior, because this is the lacuna with the technology. As I said earlier, that nobody should be punished or nobody should be found guilty for this, because Now you are observing spermatozoa. Suppose spermatozoa is not being visualized in a slide. Nobody can give an opinion that semen is present, okay, or a semen spermatozoa is present. But here what we do is we take a scrap from the slide and we try to find out DNA profile by the present technique or by the several advancement with the technology. Like we started DNA examination in 2007 and this is 2020. There are n number of research paper, if you are aware, coming up with towards the advancements. Okay, so every time we try to find research paper, we try to improve our technology. We are not working with the technology in the similar manner as we used to do in 2007. Now, as the technology is updated, you have to, as examiner, you have to update yourself. Okay, so in this case, this particular accused got found involved with our DNA report, and these two were found set free with our DNA report. And this is the autosomal STR, which is a mixed DNA profile. Okay, so you can see that accused ones, all the allele of accused one are found in the DNA profile, which was generated from the vaginal slide. You can see here, this is DNA profile from blood sample of accused one. Okay, in the same case, then this is female fraction profile, which is XX profile. Okay, so if you are getting a mixed DNA profile, that means all the numbers on any particular point, like if you observe on this particular point, if you have 10, 14, 16, that means if you think of a situation that to whom this profile will belong to, so either this number will come from victim or this number will come from accused. Okay, there won't be any number else which is not there or which will not come from outside. Okay, so on every point, like on this point you see 10, 16 and 14, here 13.2 and 29 and 30.2. Okay, so on every point the presence of accused was proved. Okay, let us escape this. Okay, so now you just see that how conclusive DNA testing is. The finding of DNA test clearly indicate the presence of, here you'll find a name. Okay, this man's body fluid on the clothings of victim, this you'll find. Okay, now this is another case of rape and murder of a girl child, which is a case of inclusion. You can see over here the blood sample of suspect, DNA profile generated from blood sample of suspect, hair seeds from fist of girl. That girl was found dead. Okay, and in the fist of girl, these hairs were there. Some hairs were there. Okay, now these hair gave a profile of this male. Okay, so this was a complete match. DNA profile from the clothings of victim, again the same male DNA profile, and this is autosomal STR DNA profile. Okay, so if you found a match with autosomal STR DNA profile, that means it's a conclusive match, because autosomal STR profile is a unique DNA profile from every individual. Okay, so this is DNA profile from nails of victim. Again, जो nails पे जो profile मिला, it matched with accused. Okay, and from underwear suspect, we got the mixed profile where all the alleles from the profile of this girl were found. Okay, so this was a complete case of inclusion. Okay, so this is how DNA report is finally generated, that on vaginal slide, on anal slide, this इसका body fluid का presence was found detected. Okay, जो hairs मिले वो आरोपी के स्रोत के हैं. Okay, so this type of conclusive opinion is generated by doing DNA examination. Okay, so now in last few slides, I would like to let you know about the present day technology, which is most commonly we use two different kind of markers, and the most commonly used markers are STR markers, which are autosomal STR markers. Okay, which I showed you, this profile I showed you also earlier. Okay, so on every point you should expect maximum 2 number of allele if it's a profile, if it is a profile generated from single source. Now, as I said, that if this profile is generated from a single source, you should not expect 2 numbers. but let it be a DNA profile generated from two persons mix, then you will find a mixed DNA profile where you'll find one or two more allele. Because if it's a mix of two, that means you can expect more than not. You should not expect more than four, because two from one individual, two from the other individual maximum. Okay. Now, there are certain variations as well which are observed, as I said earlier, that like in case of mutations, क्योंकि ये जो biological phenomena है इसमें mutations भी होते हैं. Okay, so like in this case, if you see that this particular fetus, we generated a DNA profile, and child in question was female, because this here you can see XX. Okay, so on every point, if you see that there is a match. Okay, 15, 17, 16 means one from father and one from mother, every point. Okay, but if you see on this particular point, there is one mismatch. Okay, now if at all there is one or few mismatches, that should be ascertained by using some other marker. Like in this case, as the child in question was XX, so we put it for XSTR. So XSTR of male is hemizygous. This is somewhat different topic to be discussed here. So just if you want to have more information, you can mail me. I'll send you one of my review, where you can find this male STRs, about information about STRs, information about YSTRs, autosomal STRs, and different, all the variants you can decipher. Okay. Okay. So now if you see this profile of fetus, on every point it is showing a match from accused and match from female. So on every point you'll find a match. So alternative markers are in use in forensic DNA typing. Now this is another case of forensic paternity. Now here the child in question is a male. Here you can see XY, and again there is a mismatch on one particular point. Okay, except onto this point, every point if you see, you'll find a match. Okay, now you can take help of YSTRs in this case, because YSTR is same in lineage. So at least you'll have a fair idea about the lineage of male. So that we'll see in next slide. You see here DNA profile, male DNA profile of accused, and this is male DNA profile generated from fetus. Okay, it will find same. Okay, so whenever there are one or two mismatches, they need to be confirmed by using alternative variant of markers. Okay, now this is another important thing which I would like to share with you all. Now this is priallelic pattern or genetic. There are certain genetic anomalies which are observed when you go for DNA typing, because it is you are dealing with genetic material. So whatever anomaly is there, it may be found presented into your DNA profile. Okay, so like if you see this profile. Okay, so as I said earlier, that on every point there won't be more than two peaks if you see DNA profile of any individual. But if you see here that in this child's profile, on all the points there are maximum two number of alleles, except on this particular point. Okay, so on this particular point, this child is having 29, 30, and 31.2. This is marker is D21S11. Okay, now you just see this. This was the marker DNA 21S11. This is my child's profile actually. Okay, so now you see here that this particular child of mine is having 30 and 31.2. Now I have only 30 to share for my child. Okay, now you see here the mother has 29 and 31.2. So two options. So in this child, he got 30 from me and 31.2 from her mother. But if you see for this child got 30 from me, but 29 and 31.2 both from her mother. Okay, so this is a case of genetic anomaly. So as I said that you won't be having anything, or anybody's genetic profile will not be having anything which is not there from father and mother. So whatever you have, or whatever information, whatever genetic information you have in your body, that is coming from your parents. This is one of the same thing which I observed in D21S11. This I published somewhere around 2015. Now, this is another important case which we published in Egyptian Journal of Forensic Science. I would like to share with you that, as I said, that DNA profile of all paternal lineage males are same. But if you see in the case, this was a case of sexual assault, where the allegation was with sexual assault with a lady from father and his 6 sons. All were a suspect in this case. Okay, so we did genotyping, we did DNA typing, and we found that the male DNA profile observed on the source of victim was not found same with the father and all the sons, because everybody is having same DNA profile. Okay, and it does not match. So they got excluded by our DNA report. But an interesting finding was observed. This was the first global report which we did from our laboratory. So you can see here that this father's DNA profile, on all the markers, everybody's DNA profile is same. Okay, son 1, son 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, but if you see here on this particular point, the father is having 18, son 1 18, son 2 18, son 3 17, son 4 18, son 5 19 19. Okay, so this is uncommon phenomena, but yes, these are genetic anomalies, and we may encounter to do this type of situations. So this is what we published in Egyptian Journal of Forensic Science. There may be cases of Y deletion. You can see here that you are having a DNA profile of autosomal STR of a male, but here it is being represented by X only. So now, by generating this profile, you cannot say that this profile belongs to a male or female. Okay, so to avoid this, nowadays the kits which are being used in forensic typing have 2 or 3 Y markers. Most of the new generation kits of autosomal STR markers have certain Y markers as well to confirm this. Okay, so this is a case of Y deletion, which is not very commonly, but it is observed in forensic DNA typing. Okay, so these are different samples which are deposited in forensic laboratory, और कई बार गलत भी होता है. जैसे आप ये देखिए, this article is said to be sealed, but it not sealed, और इस तरीके के आर्टिकल्स को हम लोग रिजेक्ट करते हैं, क्योंकि सैंपल में सील कहाँ पे है ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. सैंपल में सील ऐसी जगह पे होनी चाहिए जहां पर उसको खोले बिना निकाला जाना प्रदर्श को संभव नहीं है. ऐसी सील का होने का कोई मतलब नहीं है. Okay, so this is one thing I would like to share now. How it is to be sent, this I have devised कि आप blood sample को पहले जो EDTA vial में हमने ले लिया, उस EDTA vial को एक पॉलिथीन में कवर करके इस तरीके से ऊपर टैग कर दिया जाए, उसको एक थर्मस फ्लास्क में डाल दिया जाए, थोड़ी सी बर्फ डाल दिया जाए और इसको पैक कर दिया जाए. ओके, सो नाउ व्हाई दिस पॉलिथीन? बिकॉज अंदर का जो इंफॉर्मेशन है वो बर्फ के कारण खराब ना हो, गीला हो के, इसलिए आपको पॉलिथीन से कवर करना है. और जो सील होगी अब इस केस में वो यहाँ पर होगी, ताकि आप इस टैग को जब तक आप इसको डिस्टर्ब नहीं करेंगे तब तक आप इस सैंपल को खोल नहीं पाए. ऐसी सील होना एग्जिबिट पे जरूरी है. Now, how vaginal slide is to be packed? What is usually done? 2 स्लाइड एक दूसरे के ऊपर चिपका के ऐसे भेजी जाती हैं एडेसिव टेप लगा के कि अगर आप स्लाइड को तोड़ेंगे तो इट विल ब्रेक. Okay, so how ideally it should be covered? There should be some space between 2 slides, and if you talk about ideal way, तो दोनों के ऊपर कुछ एक मटेरियल रख के आप चाहे तो एक माचिस की सीख ही रखें जो कि अवेलेबल नहीं हो. अगर कुछ भी अवेलेबल ना हो तो इवन दिस कैन बी यूज्ड, और उसको ऐसा रख के उसके ऊपर यू कैन हैव सम गॉज लाइक थिंग. टेप नहीं, टेप तो उसके चिपक के डिस्ट्रॉय करता है स्लाइड को. यू कैन हैव समथिंग लाइक गॉज, और उसके बाद आप किसी भी बॉक्स में, लाइक ऐसा बॉक्स हमारे पास है, ऐसा बॉक्स हो या वुडन बॉक्स हो या कार्टन हो, कोई छोटा सा जैसे टैबलेट्स के रैपर होते हैं, आप उसमें रख के उसको, मतलब जो भी आईयूज हैं उसको रख के उसमें भेज सकते हैं, ओके, ताकि वो स्लाइड डिस्टर्ब ना हो. In many cases, you have pubic hair and swab which are being kept in injection wise. This is not a good practice. अगर ये साफ नहीं है, जो कि काफी सारे केसेस में मिलता है, तो जो मटेरियल है वो स्वैब को भी कंटेमिनेट करता है और हेयर्स को भी कंटेमिनेट करता है. ओके, स्कल एंड जा आते हैं, टीथ आता है, हेयर्स आते हैं, फीटस आता है एग्जामिनेशन के लिए. ओके, तो देर आर मेनी मटेरियल लाइक इन दिस केस किसी आदमी के मुंह में, किसी आरोपी के मुंह में, किसी विक्टिम के मुंह में या ये इतना हिस्सा लगा हुआ मिला था जिसने उसको मारने की कोशिश की थी, और ये हिस्सा उसके मुंह में दब गया विक्टिम के मुंह में, तो ये उससे रिकवर हुआ. फिर कटे अंगूठे वाले आदमी की तलाश हुई लोकेलिटी में, और ये हम लोगों ने मैच किया कि इस अंगूठे से जो प्रोफाइल है वो उस आरोपी की डीएनए प्रोफाइल से मैच किया, सस्पेक्ट की. Okay, so now if you talk about technology, you have a different type of material, and the very first step for processing of sample is DNA extraction. This is done manually or by semi-automatic method or by automatic method. This is one of the automation which we have in our laboratory. We have 2-3 different kind of automations. Then after taking DNA from these variety of samples, you quantitate your sample to put it for ideal quantity PCR. Then you do amplification, which is said to be the PCR, and you use different variant of technology like autosomal STR, YSTR, XSTR, mtDNA, indels. There are many markers which we use. Then finally the genotyping, which is done by 3100 or 3130, different part of India, different systems are there, but this is the latest version which we have in our laboratory, which is 3500XL, which can analyze 24 samples at a time. Okay, so now this is one more alternative which is available, which can give you a DNA profile in 90 minutes only. But this technology is not meant for all the samples. If you have some swab or some biological fluid, it can generate you a DNA profile, and it can give you result in only in 90 minutes. Okay, and if you follow this process, this usually takes around 10 to 12 hours if you process one sample, and 8 to 9 hours if you go with a rush. So if you say that what is the present day technology, it's as I said earlier that DNA technology is continually evolving technology. It has started with radioactive probes, and now it has become fluorescent labels. It started with southern blot, now you have PCRs. It started with slab gel, but now you have electrophoresis. Okay, and the present day technology, if you say that what is the present day technology, it is STR based technology, and which is practiced with capillary electrophoresis. Okay, and now this is the coming future of forensic DNA typing, that we are now moving with from capillary electrophoresis to NGS. There are very few installation of next generation sequencing in India, and it's already there in our Bhopal laboratory, which is the regional forensic laboratory of Madhya Pradesh. But this is not being practiced because this is very costly technology. So this is not being practiced in all the cases right now. So we are practicing a STR-based capillary electrophoresis today. So finally, we come to the end of this today's presentation. If you believe onto this technology, you are happy like this, and I'll say that you'll go with conviction, or rather I'll put it my note as you'll go with justice, because it's not a technique for conviction only. अगर किसी ने अपराध नहीं किया है तो उसको भी उतनी ही शिद्दत से अलग भी होना चाहिए उस अपराध से, अपराध बोध से, क्योंकि वो अपराधी नहीं है और उसको अपराधी प्रूव होने से बचाती भी है टेक्निक. तो ये टेक्निक वो है जो सही को सही साबित करने की कोशिश करती है और सही को सही निकालती है. सो इफ यू बिलीव ऑन टू दिस टेक्नोलॉजी, यू आर हैप्पी, एंड इफ यू डोंट बिलीव ऑन टू दिस टेक्नोलॉजी, you may be like this. Okay, thank you so much. If your queries are there, you can mail me, or by any way you can ask me.
Mr. Srivastav, Dr.
Sir.
Dr. Srivastav.
Sir.
It is your job to prove that it is not
Sir.
question of belief, factor of belief. So
Sir.
I find some contradiction in your statement, and it is a high time that
Sir.
you should elaborate on that, because DNA is something
What?
which one has to believe.
Sir.
Can
Sir,
you hear
where
me?
on which point do you find contradiction, sir?
You said that
I'm not able to hear your voice, sir. I'm not able to hear you, sir. I could not get your point, sir. Where you think it's somewhere some
hello, 1 2 3 1 2 3
contradiction
1
in
2
my
3 1 2
statement? I'd be happy to answer that.
1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Yeah. Sorry, there was some technical
Sir, yeah,
issue.
no,
Awaj
sir,
out. Yeah.
sir,
Yeah. Please.
sir. Sir, you said that you have some point on my statement. I would be happy to answer that.
I said about the belief part of it. You said that whether you have to believe or not, and you were living on the person. I am saying DNA is
Sir,
something which cannot be, nobody should afford to not believe it, and something like that. It has to be believed.
uh, it has to be beloved because you don't have any other option today which can provide you or which can give you the conclusive result. There is no technology available right now. So what I try to present that if anybody is looking for justice, so justice won't be there because merely by seeing presence of spermatozoa or merely seeing the presence of biological material or blood or semen or saliva, nothing can be proved. So if we have to do something and if you have to if anybody has to prove it conclusively, so DNA is the only method by which it can be done.
Correct. That
Sir,
precisely. That precisely. I say. Now it is
sir,
a very emphatic statement. That kind
sir,
of the emphatic statement is required. Okay,
sir,
DNA is a technique which has come to stay, and it is
sir,
helping a lot. Number one.
sir,
Number
sir,
two, a time has come when we should have the DNA profiling in
sir,
normal course, so it should be available, though we can have some kind of a privacy issue, so that
sir,
the test should be done. It should go,
sir.
and it can stay with the National Authority for Scientific and Technical Assistance. It may not be
Mhm.
available to the police, but as and
Sir,
when there is a need of investigation, then
sir,
it may be made available uh, on the basis of appropriate requisition, so
sir,
that the DNA profiling is available with a due caution on the privacy.
sir,
So that is something has to be done. And
sir.
now I think I will expect you to brief little more about scene of crime investigation, and how that the material should be collected, what kind of the provision should be made in a smart investigation app, so a layman
Sir.
police officer, or why to layman police officer, tomorrow we want to say ki even a layman community volunteer, if he can do a reasonable job.
Mhm.
So this is the one side which you have to say that, and that too you have to say different kind of material on which DNA can be taken, DNA can be extracted from, which are the materials which are good for the DNA, how that material should be preserved and how it should be packaged and should be
Mhm.
sent, right?
Sir,
And
sir.
then you can even little explain about what exactly you do in DNA laboratories, how you use your instrument, etc. Because tomorrow, जो है ना, we will be working out how we can go for the mass
Mhm.
DNA testing. I mean, without
Mhm.
जो है compromising on protocol or
Mhm.
of the process. So the same
Mhm.
protocol can be observed, but
Mhm.
the same testing process could be converted into the mass testing process. I mean, that could be the
Mhm.
futuristic vision. But here
Mhm.
you can explain number one, uh,
Mhm.
where the DNA would be available,
Mhm.
what kind of the material as an investigator they should look for, how that
Mhm.
material you have should be extracted and should be preserved, so it should not get spoiled before it is reaching you. Then the third aspect which you have already said quite appropriately, that is about how best we can seal it, so that sealing should
Mhm.
be appropriate.
It's a
And
proper
here
procedure.
the sealing is also in future, it we propose that sealing will be done in the three covers. So
Mhm.
moving from cover to cover will not be, I mean, a option to anybody, no. So that manipulation will not be possible, and all three
Mhm.
cover they will be having the different QR codes. So
Mhm.
in majority of the cases, when it is being couriered, only the outer cover should come in contact with the people, because
Mhm.
only when outer cover get damaged, then you can reach to the second layer and the then inner layer.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
how you would like to elaborate on that? This is the part from the investigation, smart investigation app. Then we
Mhm.
are trying to have another app. That app will be the
Mhm.
expert app to support
Sir.
investigation. It means that kind of the app will be made for people like you, who may
Mhm.
be sitting in a laboratory, or he may be sitting in other quarters, and what kind of the feature it should have, so that app itself could be a supporting things. One thing could be it is a communication means. Second, it can transfer things which could be photographed or could be taken to you. Third, what else could be the provision should be made in expert app, so that it can really help expert, and they can help investigating officer on the real time basis, so that there should not be any slip, and whatever is doable on almost on the real time basis may not be possible in case of the DNA, but for lot many other things, even some kind of the real time assistance will also be doable. And the app itself can provide you n number of the support, so that you can do your job, whatever the examination you are doing, it could be done through the app itself. So app will become a kind of a supporting device to help you in forming a sort of a expert opinion, because that app will be then at back end would be providing you the technology to do it. And in future, some specialized app might have some specialized supporting gadgets also. Those can be talking to the app through Bluetooth technology, that kind of the things. So even app is not should be treated as app. It could be treated as an integrated system, where some IoT devices can also play a interface to help out in making your decision. So my question is very little elaborate. I hope you
Sir.
have understood my question.
Sir. Sir. Sir,
Okay.
as far as the quantity of sample is concerned with DNA, so from
No,
any
let's
material,
first you focus on, because these students they are making a smart investigation app, and they
Mhm.
will be making a smart investigation app, which will be a dynamic app. So it will read for itself which crime is being investigated, and accordingly it will reshape itself. So
Okay.
IO need not to put a tab here and there, because it will read from the very sections which have been applied, that what kind of the investigation is required and what should be the process flow diagram for that. Now, what all need to be done at the scene of crime? Vijay Vijwana DNA, and I would not like you to limit to the DNA alone. What else you would like to tell them, so that they can incorporate those factors in their process flow diagram, and they will make it sure those things are properly and appropriately captured. Wherever there is some capturing process, even the app will provide for those processes, and
Sure.
backend जो है ना engine of this, they will try to make it sure that there should be quality capturing. So not only the
Sure.
capturing, but quality capturing. That will also they
Sure.
will be ensuring.
Sure. So, sir, this I have already documented, and this is already published also. So what best I can do is, this is already there both in Hindi and English. This is available in
So
the form of
that document
written
can be
document.
shared, and
I
we
can
will
provide,
share
sir.
it
Yeah,
to
I
them.
can be sure. I can share.
Number one,
Sure, sir. Sure,
and
sir.
something could be
Sure,
explained in netbold, because it is something like,
sir.
वो कहते हैं कि घर आए नाग ना पूजे बामी पूजन जाए. It means
Sir.
नाग देवता आए
Sir.
हुए हैं, उनसे ना पूछा जाए, उनके लिखी हुई चीज को पढ़ा जाए. So now
Sir.
since Nag Devata is here itself, they would like to listen from you, and then they will
Mhm.
read it from your document as well.
Mhm. ठीक
Okay.
sir. ठीक sir.
So they are not
Okay, sir.
going to spare you. Then they are not going to read it. So they would like to listen from you, and then when
Okay,
they
sir.
will read the document, they would
Okay,
be in
sir.
position to well connect whatever you have explained to them.
Like, let us talk case by case. Like, if you talk about a case which is a case of murder, so let us start with that, which is having involvement of blood. Okay, so whatever is being examined, or what needs to be ascertained, is the presence of biological material. Okay, so suppose you have to link a case in a proper manner. So what needs to be linked? The first thing which needs to be linked is the scene of crime. So there has to be something from scene of occurrence which should have the presence of that particular biological material, which can be assessed and ascertained by using DNA test. So something should be there from scene of occurrence. Number one, to connect scene of occurrence. Now, the person who was involved, that is the suspect or accused. Okay, so from accused, you should have something which was used as weapon. Number one, and if something is there, or some biological material is transferred from that diseased body onto the suspect or accused, so that should be collected. So now you have to link the spot. So any material from a spot. Now let that material be very very tiny. Like, as I said, that if you see this pen event, so with present day technology, even from this portion, if you have a biological material of this sort, like जो इसका गड़ने वाला भाग है, even if you have this much quantity of material available with you, even from that material DNA profile can be generated. Okay, so this is the power of present day technology. So it is very much developed now, and it has potential to generate DNA file, because we use the PCR process, which is the process of amplification. ओके, सो ये 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 6, 8 to, मतलब डबल 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 ये करता जाता है. ओके, सो आपके पास कितना भी कम मटेरियल हो, इट कैन एम्पलीफाई एंड जनरेट अ डीएनए प्रोफाइल. ओके, सो इट हार्डली मैटर्स दैट हाउ मच मटेरियल इज अवेलेबल एट सीन ऑफ क्राइम, और
some problem at
to connect the means clothings and weapons. Okay, so this is the first thing, which is the case of murder. Now, if you talk about a case of rape, okay, now here you need to ascertain the biological transfer of biological material from suspect or accused to victim. Okay, so now if you talk about sexual assault case, there may be two kind of case. एक तो पॉक्सो केस हो गया जिसमें लेस देन 10 years का बच्चे के साथ रेप है, और एक केस वो हो गया जिसमें एक बॉडी डेवलप्ड है, उसके साथ इंटरकोर्स हुआ है। दोनों तरीके के केस में जो कलेक्शन ऑफ एविडेंस होगा दैट विल डिफर, बिकॉज इफ यू टॉक अबाउट, लेट अस टॉक अबाउट एडल्ट केस, तो एडल्ट केस में क्या हो रहा है कि दैट वेजाइना इज रेडी फॉर इंटरकोर्स, तो वहां पे कोई इश्यू नहीं आने वाला। वहां पे आपको करना क्या है कि एक्यूज का प्रेजेंस देखना है। तो एक्यूज का प्रेजेंस देखने के लिए व्हाट वी नीड इज कि उसका एक्यूज का हम सिर्फ ब्लड सैंपल लेंगे विच इज रेफरल सैंपल। एक्यूज का इन एवरी केस फॉर मैचिंग वी नीड रेफरल सैंपल विच इज ब्लड। या फिर उसको हम आज के डेट में अगर हम कहें कि हमें ये अवॉइड करना है कि हमें ब्लड का ट्रांसपोर्ट थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी है, बिकॉज ब्लड नीड्स टू बी ट्रांसपोर्टेड अंडर आइस। So if you go for if you're not happy with this transportation because it becomes a bit tricky, then you can have it on FTA paper. Okay, so what FTA paper does, whenever you put a biological material on a FTA paper, okay, so what it does is it has certain chemicals impregnated, so which what they do, they divide cell, they degrade cell, and the DNA is come out, and that DNA is trapped on FTA card. Now you keep that FTA card onto room temperature. No need to go for any further preservation. The only thing is to avoid its
some connectivity issue on Dr. Srivastava's side.
from victim, you need to have clothings. Okay, now the clothing should be worn at the time of occurrence. जब भी वो घटना हुई है, घटना के समय पहने हुए या उस समय के इमीडिएट बाद के कपड़े लेने हैं। नाउ देर आर मेनी केसेस विच वी आर नाउ रिजेक्टिंग कि लड़की के साथ रेप हुआ है 1 महीने पहले और उसका सैंपल जो MLC हुआ है वो 1 महीने बाद। नाउ DNA कैन नॉट हेल्प इन दिस टाइप ऑफ केसेस। जब भी घटना कोई होती है तो देयर इज सर्टेन पीरियड बाय जहां तक कि आपको उसमें मेल DNA की प्रेजेंस मिल सकती है, स्पर्मेटोजोआ मिल सकती है। दिस इज ऑलरेडी डॉक्यूमेंटेड कि मैक्सिमम 4, 5, 6 डेज तक आपको प्रेजेंस मिल सकती है। अगर हम 6 डेज के बाद की MLC लेके और हम ये चाहें कि इसमें से हमें रिजल्ट मिल जाए तो दैट विल ओनली गिव यू a negative testing, so that we have already stopped. We don't take cases, we say that this case is not up to the mark and इसमें DNA एग्जामिनेशन रिक्वायर्ड नहीं है क्योंकि ये घटना इतनी पुरानी है। तो ये असर्टेन करना है कि घटना कितनी पुरानी है और क्या स्पर्मेटोजोआ की या मेल DNA की हमें प्रेजेंस अब असेस हो सकती है विथ प्रेजेंट डे टेक्नोलॉजी। तो 3 दिन, 4 दिन, 5 दिन, 6 दिन, मैक्सिमम 7 डेज के बाद कभी भी स्पर्मेटोजोआ की या सीमेंट की प्रेजेंस वजाइना में नहीं मिली है। ये सिंपल ऐसी ही बात हो गई कि जैसे आपने एक बकेट में एक कोई कलर हमने डाला है, तो एक बकेट में जितना कलर है, जितना पानी है, उसमें हमने कलर मिलाया, तो बकेट तो एक जगह है और पानी रुका हुआ है। यहाँ क्या हो रहा है, यूरिनेशन भी हो रहा है, वॉशिंग भी हो रही है, एंड देयर आर एन नंबर ऑफ चांसेस जिससे कि बायोलॉजिकल मटेरियल जो है उसका डाइल्यूशन होता जा रहा है। तो एक किसी चीज को एक बंद कवर्ड पानी में डालना और किसी फ्लोइंग वाटर में डालना, दोनों में बहुत फर्क है। अगर हम फ्लोइंग किसी चीज में डाल रहे हैं तो वी मस्ट थिंक कि इसका कितने अप्रोप्रिएटली हम कब तक इस पॉइंट को असेस कर सकते हैं। तो जो रिसर्च है वो ये कहती है कि 6 डेज के बाद तो स्पर्मेटोजोआ की प्रेजेंस नहीं ही मिली है। तो अगर 4 से 5 आइडियली 2 to 3 डेज में मैक्सिमम एमएलसी होना चाहिए। अगर इसके बाद की घटना है तो जितना हम देर करते जाएंगे उतना ही सीमेंट डिटेक्शन की जो चांसेस हैं वो धीरे धीरे कम होते जाएंगे। ये तो बात हो गई कि
basically these people are planning, so investigation will be taking place immediately. So
Sir.
that is not an issue, but there may be issue of the late reporting, because
Sir.
if the case is reported late, then probably nobody can help it out,
Nobody can help
because
it, sir.
then matters. So then in that case probably the other tips could be helpful.
Sir.
If those undergarment and other things, if they are not bossed, so those kind of
जो
the
कि
things should be
हाँ घटना
collected.
के समय का हो, बिल्कुल sir.
या जो उस यदि मान लो जो है उसमें कुछ ब्लड इंजरी होने की संभावना है, ब्लड आया है, तो द ब्लड स्टेन क्लॉथ कुड बी जो है, सो दोज काइंड ऑफ द थिंग्स आई मीन शुड बी द पार्ट ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेशन, and that is a very important thing.
जी.
So basically DNA would be available in all biology fluids,
all biology,
including saliva, including urination, including जो है even nails, even bones.
Sir.
So wherever there is any biological material, it has to have the DNA. So that need to be basically preserved. And Dr. Saxena, Dr. Srivastava, he has already made that a book in Hindi and English. So both will be they will be pushed to you, so that you should have those process should be a part of your flow diagram. And wherever possible, you have to have that quality check also, so that even IO should not be in position to do a poor job. You have to make it sure that he should do a good job. And then you have to focus on identification of the thing. Then you have to focus on extraction and packaging, and then proper packaging and sealing. Then say now we are going for the different kind of packaging. We are saying of the 3-layered sealing. So 3-layered sealing with the all QR code, it will be done, and then it will be passed on to wherever it is going for the test. So it will also help that redocumentation would not be required. So the process will get simplified at your end.
Sir.
And then basically we would like to know more about what you do. I mean, in the next session, probably you may explain that how you handle the samples, so that whether we can plan something for your lab, so that when your processes are being done, it can be captured through some app, through some processes, so that we can account for the larger degree of transparency over there. Here I would like to cite one example. Say, if you recall, there was a turmoil in Kashmir, and there was an allegation that security forces probably committed rape and murder. The DNA report was the wrong report because the swab was changed. Because that swab has gone somewhere, and then just out of worry, what should be done. So the lady doctor later on confessed that she has, instead of taking swab from a victim, she has submitted her own swab. And that's how you have that results were alarmingly different, and it created a lot of law and order situation. Now, those kind of error must not take place. Our processes has to really take care of that. Our job is really very complex. It requires very high degree of specialization, and then routing and capturing that has to be very properly designed, so that we should be in position to get a quality job done from a disinterested, poorly informed, and relatively less skilled police officer, or I will say slash community. Because somewhere we would like to involve community also, because so as to cut delay. So I mean that kind of app we have to create. So Dr. Srivastava, I would like to request you, if you can put some light about the do's and don'ts, they will be referred to your document. That will be certainly you will be sending to me, and I will share with them.
Sir,
But at
sir.
the same time, I would appreciate if you can throw some light on that. And then the
Okay.
second light you may like to have, that how we can integrate uh, expert expert sitting at the different place, and from the scene of crime through expert app.
सो सर ये हम लोगों ने एक की तो बात कर ली, लाइक द केसेस ऑफ मर्डर. जो दूसरी हम बात कर रहे थे रेप के केस, तो रेप के केस में हम लोगों ने फॉर रेफरल सैंपल वी शुड गो फॉर ब्लड सैंपल आइडियली, क्योंकि ब्लड से टू गेट डीएनए फ्रॉम ब्लड इट्स इजियर एंड इट्स लेस कॉस्ट इन्वॉल्विंग. ओके, सो and the point which you raised, sir, that the change of swab, so it is already being taken, it is already being taken care of by DNA examination, because we mandatorily asked to send the blood sample, referral blood samples of victim also. So that confirms that this particular slide or this particular clothing belong to this particular lady whose samples are being examined for DNA. This is already experienced. The thing which you said, it's already we observed in a case of Mandla in 2009, where the same thing happened. And from then onwards, we said that, okay, we need now to have blood sample of victim as well for matching or as a referral sample. So this is been taken care of. But still, in most of the cases,
what about the blood sample from deceased?
Yeah, definitely, sir. So we should have some sample from deceased, or from that will be the referral sample of victim. So whether she is alive or dead, some sample should be there, so that we can generate DNA profile and we can say that this particular file belongs to this particular person. All the samples, like it should match with the DNA profile of slide. It should match with the DNA profile generated from underwear, so that we can be assured that both are same or from the same source. Now, if you talk about the in case of child's case, it will be slightly different, because now here in the case of child rape, the child's vagina is not ready to have that much thrust. So what will happen, that vagina will be hammered. Okay, so it will be ruptured rather. Okay, so now that will create oozing of blood. Now that blood will be there on the penis, as well as that will be there on the clothing of accused. So with the cases of, in the cases of the girl child's rape, we should have mandatorily asked for this penile swab and the undergarment of accused for this DNA testing, otherwise which we don't ask for. Okay, so in child's case, these things are mandatory. We should have penile swab, we should have garments of accused. So this we should must. These are must. Okay. Now, as far as the quantity of DNA is concerned, so let material be in any amount. It can be tested. It should whether it now. If you talk about the cells, any cell, it should have DNA. So if any cell which is having nucleus is having DNA. Okay, so even 2-3 cells are good enough for generating DNA profile of any individual. So for materials, it won't be any problem if you talk about that. And if you want, as sir, you are saying that you want to have a look on the process. So I don't have right now available any presentation for the work which
what we can do, we can, when you are say handling a sample, we can have a live presentation on that. When you will be say somebody will be opening sample over there, and how exactly you prepare sample and how exactly you do that. So
I'll
that kind
manage
of detailing could be helpful. And I think that you can have some kind of a presentation, some kind of things which can make them understand that how they will do, so that it should be they can incorporate those processes in their lab.
Sir,
because
I'll provide, sir.
only when they will understand it properly, they would be in position to incorporate it.
Sir,
So they have to develop certain kind of expertise in that,
sir,
right?
I'll do
That
that.
kind of expertise is need to be developed.
Sure, sir, I'll do that.
So meticulously, you people have to write down the processes so that they should not be slip. Do's and don'ts has to be incorporated in the process itself.
Sir, I'll share, sir. Because as far
Okay.
as
What
document,
about what you would like them to have to help you out? Expert app.
about, sir,
Expert app.
I could not. Expert and
Expert app. Expert app means
expert app. Okay,
for
okay,
you
okay,
people.
fine, fine. Okay,
So
okay.
say a smart investigation app is there for the police officer. Now we
Sir.
are saying, should we connect the experts on the real-time basis by having interface through an app? So now we intend to have a app for you or an app for you so that you can get involved on the real-time basis, and you would be in position to do a job, and whatever could be possible on the real-time basis, that could be done directly on the real-time basis, and whatever later on need to be done, even that could be guided. So what kind of the provision we can make for you people like you, so that you can contribute in real time in investigation or investigation officer, so he can do a quality job.
Sir, if you talk about an app, so then we can, whenever there is a app, we can have always will have access to that particular area, because like if you want to see my place, you can it can be visualized through app. So now as things may vary case to case, so with app that will be much more.
Say basically, then say app would be helpful when
Sir,
certain tests, certain things could be done on the spot. So
sir,
say DNA is a specialized process that cannot be done on the spot, right? So,
nothing
but
related with DNA can be done.
some preliminary action, if required, need to be done. That could be done over there by say applying certain kind of chemicals, and then capturing those details and having the interface with the expert, and expert can guide him, so that collection of the evidence could be of little even still better nature.
Sir, so as far as DNA is concerned, sir, nothing specific is
The
required.
DNA we know. That's why
Sir,
I'm saying whether some kind of test you have which you feel, let's say Benjamin test or those kind of the
sir,
preliminary
sir,
traditional test, which
sir.
could be done on the spot, so that certain
Presence of biological material can be ascertained.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, sir. So that thing is there with that we have forensic scene of crime units, and all the units are provided with this biological testing chemicals like benzidine. That is the only thing which can be tested, sir, because semen cannot be tested. But nowadays we have just a pregnancy test type की strips आती हैं. Now a better version of this type of testing can be done. वो थोड़ा सा कॉस्टली है, अराउंड 100-150 कुछ कॉस्ट करता होगा, बट नाउ वी हैव दैट ऑप्शन अवेलेबल विथ अस कि हम जैसे इवन सीमेन का जो प्रेजेंस है वो भी हम डिटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. पीएसए टेस्ट किट आती हैं, तो वो सिंपल जैसे प्रेगनेंसी टेस्ट होती स्ट्रिप होती है, उसी तरीके की टेस्ट स्ट्रिप है जिससे कि
we have to design low cost solution so that
Sir.
it can be widely applied across the country. So high cost solution
Then,
will not be really option, because
Sir,
then probably that kind of the material will not be available with the investigating officer. He will not be in position to do a meaningful job. And say Madhya Pradesh is one of the lucky state where we are having very well elaborate presence of scientific network.
sir,
Say in each unit we are having a scientific unit, I think the situation is not the same in other state.
Other
So
state.
Madhya Pradesh in that way is very appropriately placed, and over the period we have developed lot many specialization, whether it is in the field of the forensic, whether it is a field of DNA, or even it is field of the cyber crime, and in even in the field of anti-terrorist and counter-terrorist strategies. So uh, but when we are talking here, we are talking of the whole India. So even the state where those who are not having this kind of the facility, we have to support investigating officer and police over there also. And still our apps should do a reasonable job. And therefore, we have to really help them out to do a reasonable job when even they do not have the developed unit like we are having in Madhya Pradesh. We are having regional laboratories also in Madhya Pradesh having the capability of the DNA. Whereas lot many states they are not having even a single DNA laboratory. So that kind of situation is there.
Uh, I don't think, sir, except for the testing of biological material like blood, we can provide anything else to the IU.
It may
Because,
not, it may not, it may not be in your case, but I think
sir,
lot many things could be done. Lot many things could be done.
I another field, sir. So
In other
I am
field,
a bit,
lot many
I'm,
things could be.
I'm, sir, I am a bit pig-headed on this towards my field. So it would be better if we can discuss this with some other experts from different field. So I'm a bit pig-headed on this. So I'm more focused on DNA only, sir. So like DNA and biology, I can answer, but for because I have not been anywhere in scene of crime, so I don't have much idea on scene of crime as well. But yeah, I can discuss it with some experts from different fields. Then I can answer this. It would be better, sir. So
Okay.
we have
So
different experts
basically,
in different fields.
we will be bringing other experts also.
Sir,
We
sir,
will be bringing other experts also, because
sir,
all field has to be covered.
covered, sir, sir, sir,
Then basically we will be bringing few police officers also, so
sir,
that some intricate things could be discussed.
sir, sir. Very true, sir. Very true.
Bacho, you ask questions.
Yes, sir, I have a few questions to ask. So, keeping in
Yeah.
mind that our app is being developed for any person to be able to collect the evidences or do the investigation, what precautions should they keep in mind?
Mhm.
What precautions should they take while collecting these evidences or extracting things such as biological evidences, blood, or anything else? Because if there is any mistake of happening at that point, it will lead to a wrong investigation.
Okay. See, it's a technology of which was developed in 1985, and as I told you earlier, that this is the only technology which is updated technology. If you talk about the whole forensic scenario, DNA technology is the only technology which has incremental advancements. Okay, so the problems which we think today, all the problems have already been answered in few cases, and all the problems, most of the problems which we even don't think, those are already worked out and published. Okay, so every process for DNA is documented. Like if somebody asked me, जैसे हम अभी कोर्ट एविडेंस में गए थे, तो हमसे क्वेश्चन ये पूछा कि आपने ब्लड सैंपल कलेक्ट किया था या नहीं, आप हाँ या नहीं में उत्तर दीजिए. अब हमने कहा कि ब्लड हमने कलेक्ट नहीं किया. नाउ डिस्पाइट ऑफ द फैक्ट दैट माय रिपोर्ट इज सेइंग इंक्लूजन, अगर हम ये कह देते हैं कि हमने ब्लड कलेक्ट नहीं किया, तो हमारी बात खत्म हो जाती है. फिर हमारे से प्रश्न हटके कहाँ आ गया कि किस डॉक्टर ने किया. अगर उसने अपने किसी स्टेटमेंट में गड़बड़ कर दी, तो हमारा डीएनए एग्जामिनेशन फ्रूटाइल है, वो वेस्ट है बिल्कुल. सो व्हाट आई यूज टू आंसर इन माय केसेस कि हम ये कहते हैं कि ब्लड हमने कलेक्ट नहीं किया, बट जो ब्लड कलेक्ट हुआ वो विद दैट वाज कलेक्टेड विद आइडेंटिफिकेशन फॉर्म, जिसमें जिसका ब्लड कलेक्ट किया गया उसकी फोटो लगी है. दैट फोटो इज ऑलरेडी आइडेंटिफाइड एंड कंफर्म बाय डॉक्टर विद हिज स्टैम्प्ड सील. जिसका ब्लड लिया गया उसका साइन है उस फॉर्म पे. उसका अंगूठे का जो थंब इम्प्रेशन है दैट इज देयर, और 2 गवाहों के सामने हुआ जिनके साइन वहां अवेलेबल है. If we say this, that the whole now with this the whole process gets documented, और हमने blood नहीं collect किया, but we have full proof that this blood was collected from the same person. This is full proof.
Dr. Srivastav, I would like to tell something to our students. Say, we are saying we will create the chain of custody certificate, right? So, in our process, in any case,
that
we have to
of.
prove this. It means the person whose blood is being taken, who is taking the blood, and it is exactly the same blood that will come as a part of our chain of custody. So the chain of custody, whether somebody is asking or not, that should be attached with the evidence itself. So even some defense lawyer try to contradict it, or the person may not be as experienced as Dr. Srivastav. Then probably by asking this kind of a skillful question, defense lawyer would successfully will mislead court and would be forcing court to give a wrong judgment. So our processes not only will extract evidence, but that evidence has been properly extracted, from whom it has been extracted. We have to really design the process where we should be in position to prove full chain of custody, not in words, but by digital evidences.
Very true, sir. Very true.
I mean that kind of the thing. So that will be would be helpful, and then we can even ask our forensic experts whenever this question is there, so they can see that all the details are available in certificate of chain of custody. It is having full pictorial connectivity to prove that the sample belongs to whom, including who is the witness and everything, and that will be pictorially and digitally connected, avoiding any kind chances. Because what the Dr. Srivastav is saying, that is the traditional way of doing it. Now the same thing we can do it in a digital way, where there will be digital proof. There is no nonsense. It's the same sample, and the same sample has gone over there, and there is absolute chain of custody, right from taking, right from the person, his identity and everything, and including the sample and the sample movement, and then reaching to Dr. Srivastav. That chain of custody proof has to be not only to be created, that will be tagged with that evidence.
Sir.
So, as we already said, that 3 certificates we will be putting: certificate of integrity, certificate of admissibility, and third, certificate of chain of custody. This is basically largely certificate of chain of custody कि इस victim से ही sample लिया गया है, ये वही sample है, and यही इसका proof है, and this proof is infallible proof. It cannot be disputed by anybody.
Sir.
Because say Dr. Saab had said something, जो witness है उसने और कुछ कह दिया, तो भी problem में अपन फंस गए. लेकिन यदि वो सब चीज डिजिटल फॉर्मेट में है, तो कोई कुछ भी बोले, वो डिजिटल फॉर्मेट झूठ नहीं बोलेगा, राइट?
सर.
Now this point is very important point, which has to be properly understood by you people. Sweta, you have to keep that in mind, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And also, sir, Maithili sir, this is a question to you. You spoke about the courier service, and we are using the 3 layers of QR code. So, are we pasting the QR code sticker on the layers?
Basically, I would look for the smarter solution. What could be the all possible solutions should be there? Because this question which is you are asking me, this question all the time it came to my mind. And I was having a dilemma कि QR code कैसे print होगा, क्या हम paste करेंगे, क्या जो है ना sticker से वो निकल जाएगा. So can we have some kind of the hologram which could be QR code plus hologram? Can we have some kind of the research on it? Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
You have asked especially the question which is bothering my mind time and again, because it is not question of creating a QR code, how it will be printed, what kind of the glue it will be having, how it will be pasted, can it be taken out, can it be manipulated, can we have something more which could be like a hologram, which could be invisible, whether that kind of the technology could be possible, so that QR code may not be visible, it may be visible in photograph, and those kind of the things, whether something
Sir, I
extraordinary is possible, something out of box maybe, because this would be creating the problem on the scene of crime, because QR code printer would not be there, and then if that's, then we are saying that somebody then wrongly putting QR code somewhere, and if it is not properly sealed, how those possibilities could be avoided. I will request you to, if we can really conduct some kind of literature survey, some kind of the research, and can we really come out with some out of box solution, because these will be practical challenges on ground, because especially police has not getting right kind of resources, they are not getting papers, so sometimes they are asking the complainant, please come with a bunch of paper. Earlier this was the situation in Madhya Pradesh, now it is relatively better. So the police which is not having the right or full papers, how and why they will be having other these kind of the resources which might be little more capital or cost intensive. So can we
sir,
provide some better solution? I think some research if could be done, and if we can look for, so that I really Sweta look for some solution from your side.
Definitely, sir.
Okay,
We look.
because this is a area which may be a weak area. We have to really look for how we should strengthen it, and some out of box thinking might help us.
and
Sure.
sir,
Otherwise,
pilot
very plain and
study.
simple, there will be a QR code will come out from a printer. It will be having a glue. Glue should be a good glue, like we are having nowadays. Lot many things are being received from the courier, and they are so nicely packed that you cannot really remove it. If you are removing it, it will get teared. So those kind of the material may be used, and those kind of QR code may also be used. But can we really have still a smarter process? Because now the things are absolutely different. We can think of the QR code lock. No QR code is need to be printed. Okay, so have you seen even one of the presentation of Smart India Hackathon I was looking at, so on YouTube, and I found that he created a box, and it was having a partition in which there was a device, so it was having a QR based lock. So QR is being transferred separately. The person who is having the QR code, he will only be in position to open that. That lock was linked with the QR. So QR was traveling separately, box was traveling separately, but they were linked because lock cannot be opened unless you are having the right QR code. That could be one solution. You could think of the many such solutions, because it is not question of that there you are sending a package. It is just question of that article should reach safely. Here our challenge is more than that. Our challenge would be there will be one defense lawyer who will be after our blood, and he will like to distort things, and he would like to prove that something hanky panky is possible, and the moment he could create a reasonable doubt, all our effort will go in dustbin. So our challenges would be of little higher degree. It is not as simple as that putting a box and having a lock with the QR code. Then how that would be captured and will be proved before the court, and it should be acceptable to the court. That is the always a question. And we are not talking about the detection. We are all the time talking about the certainty of conviction. So whenever we are doing anything, we have to really pay attention to this aspect.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we must see, sir, that this will be acceptable by honorable courts as well.
Yeah, that is the test. All the time, this
Sir.
factor has to become in our mind, whatever we are doing. And there's a learned defense lawyer who will be misusing his intellect,
Yeah. He may
knowing
raise a
fully
question
well
on
that
it.
you are right,
Yeah.
even create a doubt in the mind of court unreasonably to defeat the end of justice. So that defense lawyer, his job should have been to help out to bring out the truth, but he is going beyond his expected call of the duty.
Definitely.
He has taken unduly, proving innocence is his duty of the guilty. No, his duty is to put all the facts so that facts should be unearthed in the court of law. His duty is not to anyhow and wrongly defend his client. This is a wrongly casted duty on the defense lawyer. Anyhow, he should not, rather, if he is anyhow defending and knowing fully well and that could be proven, it should be made an offense in which the defense lawyer should be arrested and should be sent to jail. His duty should be to guide and help out his client. If he is innocent, he should be in position to put the fact so forcefully that innocent person should not be prosecuted. But it should not be other way around, that he knows fully well that he is the person who has committed the crime and he is using his vicious intelligence to anyhow create a doubt and get him acquitted in court of law. But till we are proving our or improving our things, he will be all the time busy in that. That's why we are going for a videograph based a very smart court trial system where we will be capturing expressions where we will be capturing the perspiration on the witness, so that if he's under threat or manipulation, we will be even capturing the mannerism of the defense lawyer. Mr. Srivastav will agree with me that sometimes the defense lawyers create a kind of a threat, kind of a blackmailing kind of the thing. Sometimes we will say, Dr. Saab, you will go to jail. That kind of the sentence they will say. And that somewhere it amount to creating a fear or undue fear in the mind of expert, in the mind of witnesses. And since that lawyer every day has to be court and he is having a nuisance value, so magistrate also keep mum. Whereas our technology will be capturing all these things, and the moment they qualify to be contempt, our system will move an application that this lawyer has committed contempt of your honorable court. This is one part of it. And then it will approach bar association. Okay, hey, you have created an ethics code and this defense lawyer has violated his ethics code. So it is your duty to take cognizance and take suitable action. And if that will not happen, then probably it will approach the administrative judge. Okay, sir, these are the proofs and we have adjusted this means. I think something you can do to help us out. We intend to really help the process to that extent, because unless we design the processes of that refinement, our system got so much vitiated. They are literally in a position to blackmail everybody. They threaten judge also. I think Dr. Srivastava would agree with that. Is that true? Many times defense lawyers use almost threatening language to magistrate also. So
Sir,
they
very
don't
true.
spare witness, they don't spare expert, they don't spare anybody, and because they enjoy some kind of the nuisance value. और आपने देख लिया है पुलिस का क्या हाल होता है दिल्ली में, तो पुलिस को भी घेर लेते हैं, पुलिस के उसमें भी घुस जाएंगे. So I mean, and everybody is afraid of them. So creating a digital chain against everybody, so किसी को न्यूसेंस करने का पावर ना रहे, ऐसा अपन को करना पड़ेगा. So our role is very difficult. Some other team is creating that kind of technology for the distributed video trial. In time to come, we will ensure that witness is not under any duress. His trial and his witness is absolutely free and fair. At the same time, he need not to come to the court. So in future time, the corona is also dictating us to design that kind of a system. So judge can sit in his chamber. His PA will sit in his chamber, and there could be multiple PA, so that they can be, I mean, having the scheduling, and the other trial would be just waiting. The moment judge is free, the other the judge will be hooked to the another courtroom. So the dynamic courtroom would be, he would be in position to attend another case, because the other case will be already waiting on other channel. So if he is having the two PA, generally every judge is having two PAs, and they keep on swapping. So one PA will be handling one case. So all witnesses, everybody is ready. The back-end processes will make it sure that no hanky-panky, no undue fear, nobody has threatened, everything is fair. And the moment judge comes, the trial process will start. And even before that trial process, the back-end processes will make it sure that because the victim or the witness may be at the other side, hence the witness has not been influenced, witness is not under any undue pressure, of screening would be done. So we will be helping court much beyond whatever is happening nowadays in court. Nowadays तो जो है ना वो witness जो कोर्ट में जाते जाते रास्ते में ही उसको थ्रेटन कर दिया जाता है. Now the things are very difficult. Now those things and those problems will be attended, and we would be in position to show their statement, even the document which is not that much legible. The technology will do all kind of the filter screening and will show the things which are not normally readable with the open eye, with the normal naked eye. So technology would be helping to that extent. We would be helping court to do real delivery of justice. Only truth will prevail. सत्य की ही विजय होगी.
We hope so, sir.
No, we have to create it. I mean, basically, we cannot look for somebody else.
Sir,
because everybody is governed with a very limited objective. Firms are working with a limited objective. Police is working with a limited objective. Advocates are working with a limited objective. Only crime-free Bharat mission, it is having unlimited objective. It is having only one objective, that the country should be made crime-free by making the truth to prevail. No false prosecution. It is the worst thing if some innocent is prosecuted. So it is not conviction. It is the conviction of the true cases that is most important.
Definitely, sir. Definitely, sir.
It will be a travesty of the justice if any innocent is prosecuted by misusing DNA testing. We must not allow that to happen. Whatever the pressure might be. No pressure. And when we are having so much mapping, so much patterns, अपराधी तो नहीं बचेगा. अपराधी को तो हम कहीं ना कहीं से घेर ही लेंगे. अपराधी के तो बचने के सब रास्ते बंद कर ही देंगे. ये तो 200% पक्का है. And we will help everybody. हर किसी की मदद करेंगे, चाहे वो एक्सपर्ट हो, चाहे वो पुलिस हो, चाहे वो जज हो, हर किसी की मदद करेंगे. और जैसा कि हमने कहा है कि ना केवल इस काम में मदद करेंगे, बहुत सारा जो है ना, और उसको अर्थ का बेनिफिट भी देंगे. तो बच्चे, आप लोगों ने ऑलरेडी सुना है वो बात कि कैसे 3-4 स्ट्रीम जो है that will be flowing to each citizen of the country. डॉक्टर साहब आपके लिए बता दें कि जो हमारा जो कम्युनिटी वॉलंटियर ऐप होगा वो धन की वर्षा करेगा जनता के लिए. हमने कहा कि भगवान जो है ना प्रसन्न हो गया है, उसने निर्णय ले लिया है कि अब भारत की जनता के ऊपर जो है धन की वर्षा होने वाली है. ठीक है ना. और वो धन कई जगह से आएगा. एक तो जो है ना, they will be playing a role in capturing of evidence, that will be one revenue stream. Then they will be doing the services of the court summons and other processes, that will be the another revenue stream. Then they will be helping out in investigation, and especially we intend to जो है ना help out public for the non-cognizable offences, and we are integrating advocate so that their non-cognizable offences could be taken to the court, making use of the CRPC's section 200 to 204, and in that case some revenue stream will be planned for the citizen, so the citizen would be having that revenue stream. Now lot many people, they are going in lot many specialized education, forensic science, this that. So we will go for we will not be creating those kind of the job, because those many job will be a burden. But at the same time, if we create them in the form of a volunteers, and we will allow the revenue stream to be flow to them, then we can observe n number of the people. They can do other activities also, and then they can play the role over here, and a revenue stream will be also coming to them. That we will be creating a different kind of the thing. Then they will be in position to play a role in a crime investigation, and their input, they will be weighted with the crime mapping, and lot many money will be flowing. Say if their input is leading to detection of 200 cases, then he will get a promotional voucher of 20,000 rupees. If it is leading to detection of 300 cases, he will get the promotional voucher of the 30,000 rupees. That kind of the money will be flowing to the people, common people, community volunteers, and each and everybody would be in position to contribute. Like senior citizen, they are such a wonderful people. They had been to the pinnacle of their career. They are repository of so much of wisdom. Their potential could be used. At times now they have virtually reduced to babysitter. मंदिर जाना, सत्संग में बैठ जाना, मतलब ऐसा कई बार उनको ऐसा बना देते हैं कि probably they lost their utility. Now the same जो है senior citizens and other even girls, women and other weaker section, they will be empowered through this app, not only for their defense, but they can contribute for the nation, and a revenue stream will also be flowing to them, and that will be a heavy revenue stream. So it will be a major source of revenue for the family. It will be changing and translating the way we think, the way we behave. और किसी से कोई काम मुफ्त नहीं कराना. कैसा लगा डॉक्टर सक्सेना?
सर
बच्चों, आपको कैसा लग रहा है?
सर सोचा बहुत अच्छा है आपने, और इसको अगर पायलट स्टडी करके हम लोग एग्जीक्यूट कर पाए तो इट विल बी अ बून फॉर आवर सोसाइटी.
कर पाए का कोई स्कोप वही नहीं है. देखिए, कानून जो बनना है वो कानून बन गया है, ठीक है ना. टेक्नोलॉजी जो डेवलप होना है वो ऑलरेडी पाइपलाइन में है, उसको रिफाइनमेंट की प्रोसेस चल रही है. कुछ डेवलप हो गया है, कुछ उसमें और चीजें डाल रहे हैं. सो फॉर द कम्युनिटी वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग 4 tabs, 4 things to the each community, each citizen of the country. एक हम उसको प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं सिक्योरिटी टैब. तो सिक्योरिटी टैब में ही कैन रिपोर्ट FIR etc. whatever he want to right from his app, right? So FIR करने के लिए उसे थाने नहीं जाना होगा. यदि वो टेक्नोलॉजी सेवी है तो डायरेक्टली FIR कर पाएगा, और यदि वो टेक सेवी नहीं है और गांव का है, उसको नहीं समझता है, तो कम्युनिटी वॉलंटियर उसे हेल्प करेगा. देन कई बार हम लोग देखते हैं कि अपने आसपास बहुत सारी चीजें गड़बड़ होती रहती है. वी फील फ्रस्ट्रेटेड. Those observation will be allowed to be routed through the community app. Then sometime he feel कि बहुत अच्छा कोई काम कर रहा है, उसको ये भी समझ में नहीं आता है कि इस अच्छे वाले व्यक्ति को कैसे इसकी तारीफ की जाए. So he can give those kind of the positive feedback, which in turn would be used for positive reinforcement. Then जो है, he will be having some kind of a chalaning kind of thing. So he would be allowed to capture evidences. Those evidences will be encrypted with the time and location stamp and will be pushed through CCTNS for the signature of SHO. And the moment there's a signature, so there's a bit trace, there's a digital evidence, and there's a signature of SHO, it becomes the challan. And half of the compounding fees will come to that person who has captured those evidence. That will be a mind-blowing money revenue fee which will be coming to them. And then जो है ना, they will be, if they are they have been given status of the volunteer and observation, or if they are registered themselves as a volunteer, they would be given some physical training, they will be given some status of a special police officer, so that he will have the legal protection also. And then he will be receiving the task which will be given by the system. And during the compliance of the system, their information will be all the time will be mapped with the overall picture of crime. And then their input, if could lead to the number of detection of crime, then he will be not be rewarded for this information, but he will be rewarded for the overall contribution of his information has made. जो हमने कहा ना, 200 offenses, 300 offenses. So though he has given one input, but because the mapping is saying that the criminal who has come in our grip, he has committed these many offenses, so that person will be getting the reward for those many offenses. And we need not to lucky to be in for the all offenses. यदि हम 5% offenses में और 2% offenses में भी lucky हैं, तो भी हम 100% केस डिटेक्ट करके ले जाएंगे. That is the beauty of this technology. Then जो है second में we are providing कि all need जो है ना now will be served through our app. तो हम आपका जो है रिजर्वेशन कराने से लेके ये कराने से लेके जितनी भी आपके एक आम आदमी को जो जरूरतें पड़ती हैं, वो अब एक शासकीय ऐप जो है वॉलंटियर ऐप वो काम करेगा. तो उसको जो है ना ये फालतू के धूर्त ऐपों से बच जाएगा. उसे कोई चाइना के बनाए ऐप बनाने के बनाए ऐप की कोई जरूरत नहीं होगी. देन इसका जो थर्ड टैब रहेगा, इट विल प्रोवाइड द निस सर्विस टू दैट ईच इंडिविजुअल, बिकॉज उसकी प्रोफाइल कैप्चर करेगी कि ये क्या काम कर रहा है. तो अज्यूम करिए कि कोई हाथ ठेले वाला है, तो हाथ ठेले वाले को हाथ ठेला चाहिए, तो ऐप उसको ये हाथ ठेला अवेलेबल कराएगा. बैक एंड में इसकी नीड को एनालाइज करके स्मार्ट हाथ ठेले कैसे बनेंगे, वो स्टार्टअप स्मार्ट हाथ ठेले भी उसके लिए बनाएंगे. एंड वो रीजनेबल जो है किराए पे उसको अवेलेबल भी हो जाएंगे. तो वो यदि ऑनर बनना चाहता तो ऑनर बने, यदि इफ ही चाहे तो ही कैन इवन गेट इट ऑन द रेंटल बेसिस. दैट काइंड ऑफ द निश सपोर्ट विल बी कमिंग. जैसे फार्मर्स को दिस ऐप विल हेल्प कि आपको कौन सा जो है ना फसल बोना चाहिए. इट विल कैप्चर की डिमांड एंड सप्लाई. तो यदि मान लो आप एक ही फसल को बहुत सारे लोगों ने बोना कहा है और हर किसी का कैप्चर कर रहा है, तो ही विल से हे नाउ जो है ना enough people has gone for this crop, so our production will be more than the our demand, so please don't go for it. It will be helping to that extent. Then it will be another startup will go, and whatever the decision he has taken about the crop, he will go and provide that seed, and he will not ask for money. He will take in the last when he will be helping out in selling also. Then जो है this app, if you are not having the tractors or other means of tilling your farm, then something will reach and do that job. यदि आपको जो है उसमें कुछ पेस्टिसाइड वगैरह का स्प्रे करना है, तो केमिकल पेस्टिसाइड का यूज नहीं होगा. उसमें ऑर्गेनिक पेस्टिसाइड्स जो होते हैं आजकल नीम उनका कोई जाके स्प्रे भी करके आएगा आपका. एंड द पर्सन वुड बी हैविंग not only the assessment about the work he has done, he can assess how he really interacted, how best he has really behaved with him. So आते वक्त उसने सैल्यूटेशन किया कि नहीं किया, जाते वक्त सैल्यूटेशन किया कि नहीं किया, दरवाजा खोल के आया, दरवाजा ठीक से बंद किया कि नहीं किया. That kind of the degree of जो है ना, we will be looking at the quality of interaction. हम सबका अनुभव है कि जो छोटे छोटे लोग हैं आजकल वो बहुत तंग करने लगे हैं. उनका जो है ना बिहेवियर भी गड़बड़ हो गया है, उनकी रिलायबिलिटी भी गड़बड़ हो गई है, उनका झूठ भी बोलने लगे हैं. समटाइम यू से फील के इलेक्ट्रिशियन आ रहा है, आज छुट्टी लेके अपने घर में बैठे हैं, मालूम पड़ा कि इलेक्ट्रिशियन शाम तक नहीं पहुंचा. नाउ दोस काइंड ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम विल नॉट बी देयर, बिकॉज दिस ऐप विल बी टेकिंग केयर ऑफ द क्वालिटी सर्विस, एंड इट विल बी क्रिएटिंग स्टार्टअप इन ईच डोमेन ऑफ सर्विस. तो जो इतने सारे बच्चे हैं, ये इतने सारे बच्चे, they are going to create thousands of startup. They will be attending each in this area. ये अब फालतू की जो है ना नौकरी नहीं करेंगे. They will be doing that kind of the job. And fourth जो इसका टैब रहेगा, it will be capturing or it will be helping you in your information need. तो आपको किस तरीके की इंफॉर्मेशन की जरूरत है, उसको जो है वो बेस्ट इंफॉर्मेशन निकाल के आपके काम की इंफॉर्मेशन आपको देगा। इट मीन्स आपको कल न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ने की भी जरूरत नहीं है, आपको आपके काम की चीज निकाल के आपका ऐप आपको खुद सरवाइव करेगा, और वो क्वालिटी इंफॉर्मेशन है, ये बैकएंड प्रोसेसेस इंफॉर्म करेंगी। तो गूगल से आप सर्च कर रहे हैं वो नहीं करना पड़ेगा आपको, आपके बिहाफ पे, आप चूंकि आपके बारे में हम जानते हैं, so we would be in position to push you the information which is to your advantage. That kind of the Jadui app is being created for the community volunteers. मेरे ख्याल से बच्चों को भी शायद ये नहीं मालूम था। Sweta, whether you were aware about this volunteer app would be having these features?
We had a brief introduction of this in our webinar, which was conducted for the whole college, but it was not this in detail.
Okay, so this kind of a detailed support system is coming, which would be giving lot of revenue. It will be changing the way we think. It will be changing the way जो है ना India is behaving, and growth rate India का जो पहले इंडियन ग्रोथ कहा जाता है, रेट ऑफ ग्रोथ कहते थे कि 2 to 4%, अब थोड़ा बढ़ के 5-6% हो गया है। That will jump from 2 to 5% to 25 or maybe 50%. That kind of the growth rate will be India will be enjoying in time to come, and that is going to be a reality. And our this small जो है बच्चे वो कमाल दिखाने वाले हैं, क्योंकि इसमें अकेले ये लोग नहीं हैं, इन जैसे बहुत अच्छे जो है ना 47 यूनिवर्सिटीज के 47 यूनिवर्सिटीज जो है ना दे आर पार्टिसिपेटिंग। एंड आज एक यूनिवर्सिटी से और बात हो रही है, दे विल बी डूइंग वंडर्स इन साइबर इन्वेस्टिगेशन, एंड दे विल बी टेकिंग केयर ऑफ dark net and dark websites, that area, because that is relatively the darker area, and lot many things are hidden over there. So we would be जो है creating a different order in India. We are talking of not only crime-free Bharat, we are talking of the job and services-rich Bharat. We are talking green, herbal, nutrition-rich, मेडिसिन-फ्री, हेल्दी भारत। और हम ये कह रहे हैं कि हमारे तो लोग स्वस्थ रहेंगे। जो हमारे बड़े बड़े हॉस्पिटल हैं, दे विल, उनकी सर्विसेज दे विल बी यूज फॉर मेडिको टूरिज्म। हमारी जो फर्टिलाइजर फैक्ट्रीज हैं, वो केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर हम तो यूज करेंगे नहीं, क्योंकि हम तो हर्बल यूज करेंगे। और हमें कितना जो है ना हर्बल फर्टिलाइजर क्रिएट करना है, that will be having the potency of the microbe also. And now we are having, as you are from this field, we are having now very powerful microbes which can directly extract lot many nutrients from air, open air, and can convert into the soil. So it will not be only जो है some kind of earthworm or that kind of herbal or that kind of organic fertilizer, but it will be a much enhanced fertilizer, जिसको हम फर्टिलाइजर कहने की बजाय फर्टिलाइजर फैक्ट्री कहें। So we will be translating fertilizer factory in our soil. Over the period, it will be generating fertilizer for itself. That kind of the concept we are talking. So हमारी productivity will be multiplied n number of times, और हमारा जो production cost है that will be dipping like anything. तो हमारा जो farmer है उसका जो है हालत will be very very good, क्योंकि उसकी जो no farmer will be committing suicide, no farmer will be committing suicide. And then we are working for empowerment of weaker section, females and tribals. So tribals, they will become the honor of many things, and lot many plants, चाहे वो herbal medicines के हों, nutritions के हों, fruits के हों, they will be all will be जो है done in the say degraded forest and this kind of the things, and they will be really empowered. हमें उनकी मदद करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, वो हमसे कहेंगे कि बताइए आपको कितना पैसा चाहिए, कंट्री को कितना पैसा चाहिए हमसे। There will be reverse flow of money from the weaker section of the society. They will be generating so much of the resources. unless we think in that way, we will not be in position to transforming our nation. तो हम बच्चों को ये चाहेंगे कि बच्चे नौकरी वोकरी वाली बात छोड़ के now they should make this as a dream, and they will be earning 100 times, more than 100 times what they can get from the job. And then on the top of it, they will be getting the satisfaction. They are transforming their country. They are transforming the way we behave. We will be transforming our governance. We will bring the transparency. And then our country will not only be the crime free, it will be corruption free also. So our rate of growth will be further multiplied, and lot of revenue would be created. So the earning of the government will be very very high, because हमारा total GDP बहुत जोर से blast होगा, तो हमारी जो tax revenue है वो भी बहुत जोर से blast होगी, and then all that money will be flowed for the this development process. हमारा growth rate will be phenomenal. That kind of the confidence should be palpably should be seen in our student. It should be seen in our public. हर सिटीजन को उस कॉन्फिडेंस और उस आशा और विश्वास को जो है ना देखना होगा, और हमें वो जगाना होगा कि इट इज इन ऑफिंग, और हमें ये कहना होगा कि ये समय आ गया है कि उठ खड़े हो. कोई आपके इतने बड़े ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन में बाधा नहीं बन सकता है. तो लोग उसको सबूलियत बने वो तो समझ में आता है, लेकिन इसमें बाधा बनने में सफल नहीं हो सकता है. सो क्राइम फ्री भारत इज आल्सो ए स्मॉल जो है टारगेट इन फ्रंट ऑफ द ओवरऑल. आवर टारगेट इज टू ट्रांसफॉर्म आवर नेशन. वी विल चेंज द फेस एंड फेट ऑफ आवर कंट्री. गुड लक. श्रीवास्तव जी, डॉक्टर श्रीवास्तव, क्या कहना है आपका?
सर
बट
नहीं सर, कंसेप्ट तो बहुत अच्छा है सर, और इतने लोग जुड़े हैं और पॉजिटिव सोच के साथ ही जुड़े हुए हैं, तो कुछ अच्छा होगा और कुछ अच्छे होने की उम्मीद भी होनी चाहिए.
हम आपको तो छोड़ने वाले हैं, आपको भी जुड़ना ही पड़ेगा. हम भारत
की
130 करोड़ जनता में 1 भी करोड़ को छोड़ने वाले नहीं.
सर
जो बच्चे आने वाले हैं उन पे भी हमारा नजर रहेगा.
नहीं, बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल. Always ready for any good thing, sir.
If you are having some more question, you can ask. Otherwise, I think we have the say motivational talk also. So I think that should be a moral boosting, because we have to have very high energy level, because जो सामने परिस्थितियां हैं समटाइम वो बड़ी पेसिमिस्टिक टाइप की सिचुएशन है. तो हमें पेसिमिज्म से नहीं गिरना है, हमें अपनी ऑप्टिमिज्म से वो सॉल्यूशन डिजाइन करना है. एंड सिंस देयर विल बी रेवेन्यू फ्लो, तो हमें उसके लिए पैसे वैसे की चिंता भी नहीं पालना है, क्योंकि रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट विल बी सो हैवी कि लोग तो लाइन लगाएंगे कि साहब हमें 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 मौका मिले. डू यू एग्री विद दिस? बिकॉज आप जितना खर्चा करेंगे वो तो 3 महीने में निकल आएगा, या ज्यादा 6 महीने में, या जो भी थोड़ा सा ऐसा एरिया होगा जहाँ पे कि कम एक्टिविटीज हो रही हैं तो हो सकता है वहाँ 1 साल लग जाए. इवन 1 साल जो है ना इज नॉट ए बैड टाइम फ्रेम. इफ योर फुल कैपिटल इज बीइंग रिकवर्ड इन ए ईयर, इट इज नॉट ए बैड ऑप्शन.
वेरी ट्रू सर.
Sir, we have one question to Pankaj sir. So, as you have told earlier, that even smallest things such as pin might also have some evidence or some biological evidence that we need to collect. So, what are the devices that are generally used to recognize if there are any any fingerprints or any blood stains or something? Are there any devices that are used to detect them first so that we can extract them?
No, because the pinpoint which I showed, if it is having any biological material, even you cannot see it with your eye, or you cannot, if you want to zoom it and if you want to see it, the only thing which you have, like when I started DNA and we learned DNA in 2003 or 4, I wore a glove and tried to generate my DNA profile in 2003, and I was not able to do so. But nowadays, even from the one finger of that glove, I can generate my profile. Okay, so this never means
डॉक्टर
कि,
श्रीवास्तव जो जवाब दे रहे हैं उसको मैं थोड़ा सा इलाबोरेट कर देता हूँ.
सर,
यस, देयर आर फ्यू बायोलॉजिकल टेस्ट जिसको हम शुरू में कह रहे थे, बेंजाडिमिन टेस्ट वगैरह जो है, विच कैन हेल्प यू टू आइडेंटिफाई द प्रेजेंस ऑफ इट. सो पहला चीज रहेगा योर शेयर कॉमन सेंस, राइट. You can look for the all probabilities wherever you expect that, right? Because
बिल्कुल सर,
as per the Locardo principle, if the two things are coming in contact, there will be transfer of material. So if your common sense says that there's a contact of the two surfaces, you can presume there will be a material even when your naked eye is not in position to see. Number one. And that will be extracted by Dr. Srivastava. I am very sure about it, right? Number two, somewhere you can use, because that similar kind of the things, if you recall what Dr. Harsh Sharma said, he said that कि even ppm में भी आपका जो है the presence of biological material है, तो that can be shown by the blue color indication of the benzodiazepine. So वो एक लिक्विड रहेगा, 2 मिनट डालिए और उसका फोटोग्राफ भी लेगा. सो उसने जो है ना एक पॉजिटिव टेस्ट दिया, ये प्रूफ भी जाएगा. कल जो है डॉक्टर श्रीवास्तव साहब ये नहीं कह सकते कि साहब हमारे पास बायोलॉजिकल मटेरियल नहीं भेजा है, राइट. सो we can have that simple kind of the things, and then we can basically by the common sense we will try to, now that common sense has to be brought into our processes, and from there we have to really look for the material where our common sense says that there could be, we can look for the Locardo principle of interface between the two surfaces, and if there's a two surfaces are coming in contact, whether you can see it or not, there has to be transfer of material. You just believe it, right? Howsoever minuscule transfer of material there might be, and that much minuscule material is good enough, as Dr. Srivastava said. So you can conduct a preliminary test, you can have that preliminary evidence also, then you package it and send it to Dr. Srivastava. He will be in position to extract,
I'll do
right?
it. No issue, no issue.
Number one. Number two, your जो है ना artificial intelligence will be generating that wisdom, and that wisdom so generated should be inbuilt, should be come into the your processes. So how your artificial intelligence and deep learning by जो है ना learning from ongoing investigation, how it can add value to its investigation process. I think somewhere you have to keep that thing, since it is doable. I know the power of all technologies. So since it is doable, hence we can have that kind of the additional जो है information which is being coming, let it be pushed as for to the deep learning as a additional information, and from there we can generate the patterns which could help us to जो है incorporate in our investigation process. Probably Dr. Srivastava would not be in position to give this guidance, because that guidance will be coming from the larger dimension of artificial intelligence and the machine learning and deep learning. I hope at least you people can understand whatever I am trying to you can make sense out of it.
Understood.
Okay.
So we are expecting the person who is investigating along with the AI to detect or find where he can find such
whatever is being captured, since our front end is going to be thin, it means that will be transferred on the real time basis, and backend intelligence will be sitting in our app. Because if we will sit the backend intelligence in our app, then our app will become a heavy app. So backend intelligence will be working with the cloud space, and now we are having very powerful cloud spaces, cloud computing. So that all wisdom will be sitting over there. They will do all kind of thing from there, and then they will real time basis they will post it to the person do this. So basically your app would be dynamic. Whatever the backend AI is doing, that will be refining the processes of investigating officer on the real time basis. इसका मतलब है वो ऐप जो है वो हर क्राइम को अलग तरीके से इन्वेस्टिगेट करेगा. It will not be a set pattern, right? Some processes would be modified by backend intelligence, because backend intelligence ने उसको process करके उसको guide किया, or the moment some guidance is available from the backend process, it will modify the processes for the investigating officer. So it will be a dynamic SOP. एक SOP होता है static SOP, हर बार जो है ना व्यक्ति को एक ही जैसा काम करना है. Here it will not be static SOP, it will be a dynamic SOP which will be turned or it will be modified dynamically based on the input received from our AI by the process of the whatever the input you are receiving, it is going and sitting in database. At database end जो है ना, it is doing all the time जो है ना some churning, and that churning will be then converted into some instruction, and those instructions will be read by your app and will modify its process.
Yes, sir.
Am I जो है ना legible and understandable to you?
Yes, sir. It is clear.
And it is very much doable. Am I right?
Very true, sir.
Okay.
So,
You can.
sir,
Sorry, I have taken part of your problem because I felt that some part need to be elaborated in a little different language, because scientists, they are always very defensive, and police officer is always very offensive. Here in investigation, we will be very offensive in our nature. We will not leave anything to chance. So we will say
Even I am
if there
offensive
are
with my
10
subjects.
probabilities, we will already capture all 10 probabilities.
Sir. He'll also find me offensive, sir. I am not at all defensive with
No,
my
I know
technology.
that. I know that. I have not said Dr. Srivastava. I
Sir,
said
sir.
scientists.
Sir.
Scientists will always use diplomatic language. They will be always using defensive language. They will see ये भी हो सकता है, वो भी हो सकता है. क्रिकेट की गेम की तरह जो है ना, they will say कि साहब जो है ना जीत भी सकते हैं, हार भी सकते हैं. यहाँ तो जीतना ही है. No हार. ठीक है ना?
बिल्कुल
So
सही, बिल्कुल
we
सही.
will work out all probability and we will look for it. And we are having the very rich wisdom of the historical data. तो जो भी इनपुट जा रहा है, हम उसको ऑल द टाइम हिस्टोरिकल डाटा से भी जो ना मैच कर देंगे ना, तो वहां से भी हमको कोई इनपुट मिल जाएगा. यदि हमको थोड़ा सा भी इनपुट मिला, हमने उसको हिस्टोरिकल डाटा से मैच किया और मालूम पड़ा कि उसको लीड दे दी कि साहब ये ऑफेंस तो इसने किया है.
sir, is
Now that kind of the support is not available today with the investigating officer. हमारा इन्वेस्टिगेटर तो बेचारा बहुत ही दयनीय स्थिति में है. तो वो भी जो है पूरा स्टेटमेंट लिखने की बजाय नाम पता लिख के घर पे आके जो है स्टेटमेंट लिख लेता है, और जब वो अपने मन से स्टेटमेंट लिखेगा तो सभी स्टेटमेंट आइडेंटिकल हो जाते हैं. एंड ही फॉरगेट्स कि दुनिया में ऐसे कोई दो व्यक्ति नहीं है, कितने भी विद्वान क्यों हो, जो कि एक को कॉमा एंड फुल स्टॉप जो है ना बता दें एक ही जैसा. हमारा जो है ना अप्रिसिएशन ऑफ फैक्ट वुड बी डिफरेंट देन व्हाट इज द अप्रिसिएशन ऑफ फैक्ट बाय मिस्टर सक्सेना, बाय डॉक्टर सक्सेना. तो दो लोग एक जैसा ज्ञान कैसे दे सकते हैं? आप लोग को अनुभव नहीं है, लेकिन मैं आपको बता रहा हूं अंदर की बात. आप हमारी डायरियां देखो तो सभी स्टेटमेंट एक जैसे होते हैं. उन्होंने मोटी बात समझ ली और अपने हिसाब से लिख दी. ये नहीं होना चाहिए. एंड इन फ्यूचर दैट विल नॉट बी डूएबल, बिकॉज the statement would be recorded and transcribed by the system. तो वो ऑप्शन इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग ऑफिसर के पास रहेगा भी नहीं. वो अपने मन से बयान लिखने का ऑप्शन विल नॉट बी देयर, एंड जो उससे जो स्टेटमेंट से जो ट्रांसक्रिप्ट होगा दैट विल गो टू द डाटाबेस. तो बैकएंड इंटेलिजेंस उससे कुछ पढ़ के फिर से डिग आउट करके गाइडेंस जनरेट कर देगी. तो इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग ऑफिसर वुड बी रिसीविंग very जो है ना अप टू डेट गाइडेंस फ्रॉम द सिस्टम ऑलमोस्ट ऑन द रियल टाइम बेसिस. बिकॉज बैकएंड इंजन में तो जो है ना किसी को शांति से बैठना नहीं है. उसमें तो जो है ना एल्गोरिथम अपना काम, अपना चमत्कार दिखाती रहेंगी, और उसने जो कुछ भी पकड़ा वो उसको पुश करेंगे ऐप पे आपके. सो द लाइफ ऑफ द इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग ऑफिसर दैट विल बी वंडरफुल. वो इतना पावरफुल और शक्तिशाली होगा कि उसको आज कल्पना नहीं होगी कि आगे का तो जो है ना विवेचक कितना ज्यादा ताकतवर होने वाला है. दुनिया की पूरी ताकत उसके पीछे होगी. और यदि हम उसको, चूंकि आई एम इन हैबिट ऑफ यूजिंग लिटिल स्पिरिचुअल लैंग्वेज, तो हम उसको कहेंगे कि उसको ऑलमोस्ट ब्रह्मचक्षु मिलने वाला है. वो चीज देख पाएगा जो ना तो वो सोच सकता है ना वो देख सकता है. महाभारत में जो संजय देख पाता है, ये he will be more than Sanjay.
So I had one question. So you've been talking about the backend intelligence to process the historical data and match or give
Article that follows. So
investigation
this
lead
article
to the officer. So is this service already developed, or is anybody working on it?
That will be part of you. There are the two teams at your end. So one team is working at the database end, another team, your team is working at this end. So both the team are sitting there only, right? Something is being done at the other places also. Their work will also be available to your team. But basically, even for the database analytics, one team is working from your institute on that, and some finer processes they have been given to the some other students also. So whatever they have done, that will come and will be integrated with your team. So your team will be fortunate to have the input from other people also, and it has to play a master stroke. Because we have developed a number of the tools which will be modified, which will be processing CCTLS data, which will be processing a number of the things, which will be processing CDR and other kind of the input. Those modules will be made available to your team so that they can work on the say, since the database is sitting with you. I mean, that is the database of the National Authority of the Scientific and Technical Assistance. So you are representing that database, and that database will be having the input from n number of the places. So the AI engine has to be devised to all the time extract the information either by their own modules or by the modules developed by the other teams which will be flowing to this team. So your team which is working for on the database designing and data analytics, they will be having a personal responsibility. हमने आपके इंस्टीट्यूट को काफी वजन दिया है, और अभी जो है आज BIT से भी बात हुई है, तो वो BIT के स्टूडेंट they will be focusing on the cyber analytics and those kind of the things. But ultimately, whether it is this or that, it is going to sit with you people. That is going to come and sit here, and the inferences drawn by AI, they have to dynamically modify your app. So you have to talk how that those inferences will be relate to you, how dynamically you will be modifying your investigation process. So it will be much more than SOP. It is not a SOP. It is the FOC which is being revised every fraction. The moment there is any additional input, that input, if it is giving some inferences, that inference will be जो है given as a investigation lead. जब investigation चल रहा है तो it would be better कि हम अपने investigation process में ही क्यों ना डाल दें. पहले यदि all the time आपने मुझे सुना होगा तो मैं हमेशा कह रहा था कि investigation lead आएगी, उसके साथ में compliance module लगा होगा. कहा था नहीं कहा था. Now what I am saying कि investigation lead IO को देने की बजाय हम app को क्यों ना दे दें. And app will modify its processes, तो कैप्चरिंग अपने आप हो जाएगी. App जो वो कैप्चर कर रहा है उसमें हम उसके परफॉर्मेंस को ऑलरेडी कैप्चर कर रहे हैं, सो हम परफॉर्मेंस इंडेक्स भी वो कर देंगे. कल जो है यदि उसका परफॉर्मेंस पर्टिकुलर नंबर के नीचे रहेगा तो उसको फील्ड पोस्टिंग नहीं मिलना है. सो पीपल जो है ना वुड बी टर्निंग हाईली प्रोफेशनल, एंड दैट इज द नीड ऑफ आवर. हम अभी मैं जो है ना, मुझे सबसे बड़ा पेन है जो पुलिस ऑफिसर कि जब मैं प्रोबेशनर था तब भी अवेयरनेस ट्रेनिंग होती थी. अभी जब मैं डीजी बने हुए इतने साल हो गए हैं, आई एम डीजी फॉर मोर देन 6.5 ईयर, तो भी जो है अभी भी जो ट्रेनिंग है वो अवेयरनेस नाम की ट्रेनिंग होती है. इट इज ए हाई टाइम, लेट्स क्रिएट एक्सपर्टाइज एंड लेट्स क्रिएट एक्सपर्टाइज इन ऑल डोमेन ऑफ लाइफ. नाउ era of the awareness has gone, and when we create awareness, it is a business to someone. जो awareness spread करना चाहता है, it is business for them. कुछ लोग उस awareness को fear में convert कर रहे हैं, and they are creating business for themselves. कोई लोग जो है ना वायरस क्रिएट कर रहे हैं और फिर उसका एंटीवायरस बना रहे हैं, दे आर क्रिएटिंग बिजनेस फॉर देम। तो ये वायरस बनाने वालों को भी पटक के जो है ना लीगली हैंडल करना है, जिससे कि वो एंटीवायरस की दुकान ना चला पाए। आप समझ रहे हैं ना बच्चे? हमको इस स्टेज पे जाके चीजों को पकड़ना पड़ेगा।
Sir, I have one more
or it is
question.
going okay, please. It is to Dr.
Sir, in this
Pankaj or to me?
no sir, it is to Maithili sir.
Okay, please.
Sir, in this 45 days internship, do we need to develop our app or we just need to make a document, sir?
No, you need to create a technology.
Okay, we need to develop.
You need to create a technology, and all the time we are saying that yeah, a full app has to be created, but your app will be in versions, right? So पहले हम जितना कैप्चर कर पाएंगे, that will be the first version, and हर 45 दिन में ये वर्जन जो है ना इम्प्रूव होगा। सो आपकी जो ये इंटर्नशिप है ये 45 डेज में मल्टीपल में चलेगी, एंड देन जो है ना यू विल बी गेटिंग इंडिपेंडेंट सर्टिफिकेट्स फॉर ईच इंटर्नशिप, ईच माइनर प्रोजेक्ट एंड ईच थिंग, एंड व्हाटएवर यू आर डूइंग नाउ एज ए पार्ट ऑफ MOU, that will be translated in your mark sheet also. So this will not be your extracurricular activity, it will be framed how it should reflect in your mark sheet. Okay? So
Yes,
it is a continuous process. Now we are partner on the continuous basis. Even जब आप कॉलेज से निकल जाएंगे तो आने वाले जो बच्चे हैं they will become the partner in the game. So it would be a continuous process, and जो कुछ भी अभी repository जो ये सब चीजें हैं they will be available to them, and they will start where you will be living. So it will be something like a baton race. आप जहां दूसरे को थमाएंगे वो उस जगह से दौड़ना चालू करेगा, राइट?
Yes, sir.
तो आपने
Yes,
यदि वर्सन 3 पे छोड़ा है तो वो वर्सन 4 बनाएगा, यदि आपने वर्सन 4 पे छोड़ा है तो वर्सन 5 पे छोड़ा है। एंड लेट मी टेल यू, दिस इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी ऑब्सोलीट, बिकॉज हर वर्सन लेवल पे हम उस समय फिर से लिटरेचर सर्वे करेंगे, रिसर्च पेपर सर्वे करेंगे, एंड वी विल इन्वॉल्व द टेक्नोलॉजी अवेलेबल एट दैट मोमेंट ऑफ द टाइम। तो यदि हम आज से 1 साल बाद के जो वर्सन बना रहे हैं उस समय 1 साल में जो टेक्नोलॉजी ने जो प्रोग्रेस की है उस प्रोग्रेस में उनके रिसर्च पेपर्स को खंगाला जाएगा और उस टेक्नोलॉजी को इन्वॉल्व किया जाएगा। हेंस दिस इनिशिएटिव it will never be जो है ना number 1 obsolete, number 2 it cannot be browbeaten by the criminals, क्योंकि criminals की कितने पढ़े लिखे होते हैं, क्या इतने विद्वानों को ये छोटे अदने बिना पढ़े लिखे जो है ना क्रिमिनल मूर्ख बना सकते हैं क्या? अब तक बहुत हम लोग मूर्ख बन लिए हैं। Now a time has come, no criminal will dare to be fool। अब जो है अभी क्या होता है कि वो आगे रहता है, हम पीछे दौड़ते हैं। अब इसका जस्ट उल्टा होने वाला है, जैसे कि हम कह रहे हैं ना प्रिवेंटिव टेक्नोलॉजी, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द सर्टेनिटी ऑफ प्रिवेंशन। तो सर्टेनिटी ऑफ प्रिवेंशन में क्या हो रहा है, वो घर से बाहर निकल रहा है और हमारे सिस्टम ने कैप्चर किया, एंड वो ही नोज द न्यूएंसेस, सो ही विल से दिस पर्सन इज गोइंग टू कमिट क्राइम। नाउ ऑल द नोट्स आर अलर्टेड, हे द क्रिमिनल इज मूविंग एंड ही इज गोइंग टू कमिट क्राइम। Now बाकी के जो है कैमरे, now they are looking for that target. So the moment he will be handled, hey, he's at this point. Now the backend technology will design, okay, he can go in 3 routes. कितना लीड टाइम मिल सकता है, इसके हॉट स्पॉट एरियाज कहाँ हैं, बोले वहाँ है, तो कितना देर में ये पहुंच सकता है वहाँ पे, इतनी देर में। So who can be deployed to capture him? तो नाउ अब वो समय खत्म हो गया है कि जब हम क्रिमिनल के ऊपर रिएक्ट करेंगे, we will be बिफोर जो है ना क्रिमिनल को हम क्राइम करने के पहले पकड़ेंगे। तो हमारी टेक्नोलॉजी जो पैटर्न से वो चीजों को निकाल पाएगी, और टेक्नोलॉजी विल बी ऑलवेज अहेड ऑफ द क्रिमिनल। अब पुराना जैसा नहीं होगा कि क्रिमिनल हमारे आगे दौड़ रहा है और हम फिर हाँकते हुए उसके पीछे दौड़ रहे हैं, फिर कुछ प्रगति हो जा रही है, फिर हम कह रहे हैं कि हाँ डीएनए मेरी मदद के लिए आ गया है। तो इस तरीके का नहीं होगा, अब बिल्कुल एब्सोल्युटली उल्टा होगा। टेक्नोलॉजी इज ट्रेवलिंग फास्टर देन दैट क्रिमिनल, एंड वी आर कैपेबल ऑफ डूइंग दैट, सो दैट इज गोइंग टू हैपन दैट वे ओनली। डॉक्टर साहब क्या कहना है आपका?
बिल्कुल सही है सर, बिल्कुल
अच्छा
सही है।
बच्चे, have I answered your question?
Yes, sir.
So it is a continuous process. It is not question of creating a document. It is creating technology. और टेक्नोलॉजी को हमने कहा है कि हम दो तरीके की टेक्नोलॉजी करेंगे। एक जिसमें हम स्टैंडर्डाइज करके उसको माइक्रो सर्विस या बैकएंड टेक्नोलॉजी कहेंगे, और दूसरा हम उसको इंटीग्रेट कर देंगे तो वो ऐप एंड मेजॉरिटी ऑफ आवर थिंग्स वुड बी प्लेटफॉर्म न्यूट्रल। तो हम उस टेक्नोलॉजी को जिस प्लेटफॉर्म पे चाहें उस प्लेटफॉर्म पे चलाएंगे। दैट्स व्हाई वी विल प्रेफर टू से इट एज ए माइक्रो सर्विस। आपको जो है ना मेरी बात समझने के लिए जो अभी कुछ हो रहा है इससे थोड़ा सा और ऊपर जाना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो आप मेरी बात को जो है ना कहीं ना कहीं मिस करेंगे। वी आर नॉट टॉकिंग ऑफ व्हाट एवर इज हैपनिंग। जो ऐप बन रहे हैं वी आर टॉकिंग ऑफ मच बियॉन्ड, जो आगे के क्या होने वाला है। वी आर टॉकिंग ऑफ दैट काइंड ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी एंड इट इज परफेक्टली डूएबल, एब्सोल्युटली डूएबल। डू यू एग्री विद दिस? इट इज डूएबल?
ऑफ कोर्स सर।
Yes, sir.
Of course.
Yes, sir.
So that is a still जो है ना giving me extra energy when my team says yes, it's doable. Okay. Dr. Reddy,
Sir,
you are
वैसे
keeping
भी
silence. I want to listen something from you as well.
No, sir is having some connectivity issue.
He
Okay.
is unable to talk.
But I think he should be listening it.
Yeah, sir, he is listening
Yes,
and
he
he's typing also, sir, in chat box.
Okay, he is writing also. Great.
Yeah, sir.
So whether we will be having the benefit of his observation, or if you are not having any question and if he is not available to us, then we can close this session. Do you have any other question, either to Dr. Pankaj or to me?
No, sir.
No. Dr. Pankaj, do you want to say anything?
तो सर बस लास्ट में मैं यही कहना चाह रहा था कि काम कठिन है इसीलिए करने योग्य है। सरल काम तो सब लोग किया करते हैं। कोई नई चीज है और कठिन है इसीलिए करना
कठिन
चाहिए।
इसलिए नहीं है क्योंकि हमें कोई रेडीमेड स्टोर से नहीं खरीदना है।
नहीं खरीदना है।
जब आपको खुद बनाना है तो सरल है, वो
सरल है।
जब कठिनाई तब होती है जब कोई दूसरा कर रहा हो, राइट? तो वो कठिन भी है और सरल भी है, और इट विल बी डायनामिक आल्सो एंड इट विल बी ए लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस। एंड ए टाइम हैज कम कि अब लोग बाग ये क्वेश्चन पूछना बंद कर दें कि ये क्या किसी दूसरी कंट्री में हुआ है।
जी।
अच्छा, नंबर 1। नंबर 2, अब दूसरी बात भी है, सब लोगों को समझना पड़ेगी कि हर कंट्री के हालात अलग अलग हैं, उनकी वैल्यूज और सोशल सिस्टम अलग अलग हैं, उनके गवर्नेंस सिस्टम अलग अलग हैं। दैट्स व्हाई व्हेन वी गो अब्रॉड हम अलग तरीके से पेश आते हैं। हम वहाँ पे उनके किसी भी सिस्टम को नहीं तोड़ते हैं, हम उनके 100% सिस्टम को मानते हैं। और इंडिया में हम अपनी कोई बात नहीं मानते हैं, हमें जहाँ दिल पड़ता है हम उसको वो कर देते हैं। और कई बार जो लॉ जो जिनको जो है एग्जीक्यूट करना होता है उन्हीं की कॉलर पकड़ लेते हैं। सो नाउ इंडियन सर्कमस्टेंसेस आर मच डिफरेंट। लेकिन आने वाले समय में इसका जस्ट उल्टा होने वाला है। नाउ द पीपल, जैसे कि वो स्पिरिचुअल फील्ड में इंडिया की तरफ आ रहे हैं, नाउ ए टाइम हैज कम कि फॉर द टेक्नोलॉजी आल्सो दे विल कम टुवर्ड इट। नाउ ए टाइम विल कम व्हेन गूगल विल बी वाचिंग कि मैथिली शरण गुप्त क्या सोच रहे हैं। Probably they would be in position to do it faster, but anyway that will be available to us. So we are still happy. We do not want a seal कि हिसाब जो है ना हमने क्रिएट किया, लेकिन आइडिया हमारा है। We are happy with that. I think time काफी ज्यादा हो गया है. It is a time to close this session, and I would like to thank Dr. Pankaj Srivastava. He was very busy. He was busy in a case of High Court. Under my request, जो है ना, he agreed to deliver in this talk.
No, sir, you can order any time, sir.
So I am really profoundly grateful to you for sparing this valuable time. We will be having your other sessions also, and now you are having some test of our sessions. So now you can prepare yourself in the light of the way we or so that your future session would be much more helpful to us. So we will be having a future option also. Now I will request my student to propose a formal vote of thanks for you.
Thank you so much,
Who will
Dr.
propose? Shweta, you will propose or Yogi will propose?
I'll do it, sir.
Okay, sure.
Thank you so much for your honorable presence and experience and all the information that you have shared with us today. It is very valuable, and not only for us, but even the other people who would like to learn more about DNA fingerprinting. So thank you so much, sir, for this discussion and your valuable experience and information.
Yeah, you are welcome.
Once again, thank
Okay,
you
sir.
from my side too. And I
Sir,
am
Thank you
thankful
so
to
much,
my
sir.
team. I am thankful to my admin who
sir,
relentlessly जो है ना follow me up also. He
sir,
always keep me on track. So
sir,
let's give a few claps to admin. He is
Ashrit.
doing a marvelous job, and I would like to convey my really thanks to him as well. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.